My sweetest friends. I think this is a perfect song, perfect intro to a Monday morning. Pretty much any Monday, but especially this Monday. You could have it all, but you can't hit with runners in scoring position. So you won't have it all ever. Yeah, you did. Real good. Twice, back to back. Let me down. And that's how we have to start our show on a Monday. Good morning, Ben and Woods. 97.3 The Fan. A bit dramatic, maybe. But that's okay. That's how we're going to roll today. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's our executive producer. Good morning, Paulie. Welcome, Paulie, to the torture chamber.
Why, thank you.
As it were. Let me have that drop one more time.
Great to be here.
I love that drop.
Welcome to the torture chamber.
That's exactly what this weekend was. Good God. Benjamin Higgins, who is our Secretary of Homeland Exploration, is also here. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning.
How are you?
I did not venture too far from the North County abode this weekend, so no homeland exploration.
No, not yet.
But it's good to be back. It's good to be here on a Monday. We're still alive. Season's not over yet, so
No.
I'm doing okay. That was a tough one last night.
Yeah, it was a tough one the night before, too. Just a lazy fly ball.
Which one was tougher?
Last night was awful.
Obviously.
Last night was death.
I'd be fairly surprised if there was another regular season game that feels like a bigger gut punch than last night's. Now, obviously, in the playoffs, any loss feels as bad as that or worse. They're all brutal once you get to the postseason. But in terms of regular season losses, it doesn't happen all that often where you get one out away from a win with nobody on base at all and lose that game. There's only, a couple of scenarios that beat you. A home run against Josh Hader, which rarely happens, or putting together 3 hits in a row off Josh Hader, which also rarely happens. So you feel really, really confident in a situation like that, even against a great player like Mookie Betts. So, I don't think it's going to get much worse than that.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but that one sucked. There's just no other way to look at it. It was a really, really brutal, excruciating loss in May, by the way, early May, right? If the Dodgers have taught us anything, it's that the regular season doesn't really, really matter. It really doesn't. I mean, you need to win a lot more games. You need to get on a good run here. The 1 step forward, 2 steps back bit is not going to work the entire season. You're not going to be in a position. You got to string something together. And by something, I mean 6, 7, 8 wins in a row. We've seen a lot of teams do it this year. None of them have the caliber of the talent that this team has. None of them.
Right. I mean, we'll get into all of this. The characterization of 1 step forward, 2 steps back is certainly not right. They've won 10 of their last 16 games. It's not like
they literally won on Friday and then they lost on Saturday and Sunday at home against the Dodgers.
They're not going to win every series. Oh, you got to look at a wider picture in baseball.
Well,
you
sure.
go back.
I'm just talking about this weekend.
In the last 2.5 weeks, Padres are playing pretty decent baseball. I don't think that changed. I thought they played decent baseball this weekend.
What's their longest winning streak in the last 2 weeks?
3, I think. So their longest winning streak of the season is 3. Their longest losing streak of the season is 3. I mean, it's
I think they played decent baseball on Friday night.
Yeah, played really good.
I mean, they pitched well on Saturday.
They pitched well every day.
They played great baseball until the 7th inning of last night's game.
They played identical baseball to the Dodgers
no doubt.
This weekend.
They
probably outplayed the Dodgers. Everyone says, well, they didn't hit. They out-hit the Dodgers in every single game of the series. Out-hit them 22-13 in the series. And the Padres' biggest problem was lack of hitting, especially with runners in scoring position. And the Dodgers got 1 or 2 more timely hits. They only got 1 hit against Blake Snell on Saturday. So to say if hitting is a problem for the Padres, it's a bigger problem for the first place Dodgers right now.
Sure. No, I think Dodger fans will be the first one to tell you. I mean, they showed that graphic on the screen last night when we were in the 10th. Or no, it wasn't the 10th. It was when Will Smith hit the double off of Juan Soto's middle pocket of his glove. They were 1 for 22 with runners in scoring position at that time. Now, all of that goes away when you get a couple in big situations and you scratch out a couple of wins.
They did that the last couple of weeks. They've had a couple of games where they've had a ton of hits with runners in scoring position. Now they've gone back to not getting hits. This is what I said when they weren't doing it a couple of weeks ago. It's unpredictable in baseball. Hitting it with runners in scoring position is not something you necessarily can consistently do. You get on a run for 2 days and then they don't come for a day. And then you go on a run for a week and then the other way for 2 weeks. I think you have to be a good hitting team overall, but the runners in scoring position thing is kind of random and kind of out of your control.
How about a fly ball with a runner at third and less than 2 outs? How about that? Start there before we start worrying about ripping doubles in the gap. Juan Soto not being able to deliver a fly ball or, anything other than a weak ground out to first base with a runner on third and less than 2 outs sucks. That's your 3-hole hitter. That's what you pay him for. He has been playing better. He has been hitting the ball better. He hit a couple of missiles last night. He got Petco'd twice. His only hit was a little cue shot nubber by the pitcher's glove that went 35 miles an hour or something off the bat. That's weird baseball. It's the I can't get a runner in from third where you don't need to hit there. You just need a fly ball. You got to tie that game on Saturday night.
I get that, but when you look at a team that struggles to bring runners home from third, oftentimes you look at a bunch of young players who don't understand how to play the game, right. And they're just in it for their own stats, and they're just swinging for the fences every time. I don't think Manny Machado and Juan Soto and Fernando Tatis Jr. and Xander Bogaerts don't understand how to play the game. They're not executing what they're trying to execute. I fully believe that Juan Soto was trying to put the ball in play in the outfield and just was unable to do it. Yeah. The pitcher's trying to stop him from doing it, and you don't win every single one of those battles. So, how
about one battle? Let's win one battle with a runner on third, less than 2 outs. Right, I'm fine with one battle.
My ultimate concern right now,
because that will win you the war eventually.
And I'm not going to say I have no concerns, but I am not panicking. The panic button is way on the other side of the room right now. I'd have to get up. I hate getting up. I'm not walking way over there and hitting the panic button at this point. The Padres, if the season ended today, would be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they'd be a wild card. They'd be a team no one wants to face in October. They're holding a wild card spot right now. No, I didn't get up. Did you see me get up? I didn't get up.
I hit it.
Paulie hit it. I just want the torture chamber.
The one area where
welcome to the torture chamber.
I have some legitimate concern is we are now through how many games? 35, 36.
They're 18 and 17. Is that right?
35 games. Yep. Still a small portion of the season, but getting a little more statistically significant. Padres are a middle of the road offense. You look at OPS plus, you look at on base percentage, you look at home runs. They're right around league average in everything. This team was predicated on being, and pretty much every expert in baseball said, this should be the best offense in baseball. When they did their preseason rankings, Padres number one offense in baseball. And if they were anywhere near the number one offense in baseball right now, they'd be killing it. They'd be 4, 5, 6 games better in first place. They'd be killing it, but they are not anywhere near the number one offense in baseball. Is it?
They're much closer to the number 29.
They're right.
Offense.
No, they're right around 15 or 16 with everything.
Batting
average is the only thing that they're below. But OPS plus, the important stats, they're right around one above or one below league average. They're right in the middle of the pack. That's not good enough. Padres have gotten good pitching for the most part, at least what they expected. After a slow start, the pitching is fine. The defense, yes, Juan Soto made a blunder yesterday, but overall, the defense has been outstanding all season long. If you continue to get the pitching and defense you've been getting, and you get an offense that's not even number one, but just top 5 in baseball with the kind of stars that they have, Padres will be an outstanding team. But with a league average offense, they will be a team that is, fighting to stay a few games above 500 and battling for a wild card spot at the end of the year. The offense is not where it needs to be. And I don't know exactly other than, guys that we expected to perform better, like Juan Soto, haven't performed better. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you if it's philosophical. I can't tell you if it's health. Looking at guys like, Manny Machado insists healthy as can be. He's got a bunch of hits lately. I mean, I just don't feel as confident as I thought I would when, the Padres hitters are coming to the plate.
Yeah, I don't either. It's more stressful to watch Manny and Juan because there's a lot heaped on them right now. I feel pretty confident when Fernando comes up.
I do too.
I feel pretty confident when he's there. I was feeling for a time that Xander, is really locked in, and he's fallen off a little bit. The defense is still played, obviously, by that nice catch he made last night, and did get a hit last night in a big situation. So, it's just those are two tough pills to swallow at home. Especially, and I'm not going to come on here and be like, wow, this team sucks. They have no heart. They have no fight. A couple of results did not go your way, and it sucked. I mean, those two games were gut punches. Having the tying run on third with less than 2 outs and not being able to get it in it's inexcusable in baseball. It just is.
Dude, even Friday night, they had the bases loaded like 3 times in the last few innings of the game. I'm like, dude, put them away.
If there's one thing you can say about this team, if there's one thing, and I don't know how you quantify it, and maybe one of our brilliant callers can, they don't have a killer instinct at all. Not even in the slightest. They get 2 runs in the first inning a lot. I would love to go back and look at these 35 games and find out how many times have we scored 2 in the first. Because I feel like it's more than 5 times. And then it just stops. It just stops. It's the stupid boxing analogy that I made 4 weeks ago. You cut the guy early, and you're like, I'm going to take it easy. Now I'm going to play back, and I'll play rope-a-dope and let him beat me up for a while.
I don't know what the Padres' current numbers are getting runners home from third base with less than 2 outs. But you say, like, that's embarrassing if you don't. Do you know what the major league average is for doing that?
No.
55%. So
we'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a coin flip. You're gonna see a lot of times that major league hitters don't get that runner from home from third with less than 2 outs.
I see your point. Yeah. It's valid. Do any of those hitters have Juan Soto, Manny Machado, and Xander Bogaerts? That's my effing problem. It's not Chase Headley anymore. It's not Austin Hedges anymore. This is what I'm talking about. We have opportunities with, on paper, some of the best hitters in the world, and they're not getting the job done. I realize it's hard to do. But that's why you stack the deck in your favor with those really, really, really good hitters. No other team has a front 4 like we do, a top 4 like we do. None. No other team. But I bet you the Rays, I wonder what theirs is.
I'm sure it's great right now. They're 20-7.
Probably 85%. And they're doing it with guys that aren't as good as what we have. That's what I'm saying, is just like, where is the killer instinct? I off the top of my head, I can remember 3 games where we scored 2 in the first and stopped. It just stopped. And it's not like they don't scatter some hits in and out, from there. They have to be able to put teams away. Now, you get to a game like last night, and you've got your all-world, almost perfect closer on, and you're 1 out away. I mean, that's just a brutal loss.
I saw that in the chat as well. You can't let teams like the Dodgers hang around. You can't let teams like the Reds hang around and steal a victory. The Dodgers are going to hang around. They're a good team. When you play other good teams, they're going to hang around.
I'll tell you though,
really good pitching.
I agree. They're
not going to go away in most of these games.
I agree to a point. But think about, since we started covering the team, have you ever seen a worse Dodger lineup than this? Not even close. Bush, Outman's having a great year. He may win Rookie of the Year, but he's still a rookie at the end of the day. Okay,
it's not the household name.
I mean, he's performing better than all of our stars. Yeah.
Bush,
Outman, Hayward. Like, used to, we'd be like, oh my God, here they come. It's Muncy and it's Trey Turner, and then on we go. They had the
Justin
big
Turner,
Justin Turner, all these just clutch dirtbag guys. And I mean dirtbag in the most respectful sense of, like, they're going to get a job done. That was the Dodgers way. They will rip your soul out. I'm looking at this lineup going, this is the team we should be ripping in half. This is the team. They held some of their big stars to really not great series. And you got beat by Bush and Altman and guys like that.
The Dodgers got 4 hits per game in this series.
I know. It's amazing.
It's horrific.
It's horrific.
Their lineup was honestly horrific.
Which makes these losses way worse. Way worse. This is why they're way worse. This isn't the Dodgers of old. I know what their record says, but this isn't the Dodgers of old. It's just not. Vargas. I mean, go down the roster. It's cobbled together.
It's not good.
It's cobbled together. And they're still beating us 2 out of 3. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks.
I mean, what can you do other? Okay. Well, we'll continue this discussion. Obviously, tier ones have a lot to say about it. We've got 3 games to go through this weekend.
Foreplay of all time.
I enjoyed it.
Not foreplay at all, but yeah, it was a weekend, and we will discuss what happened.
Do you want to hear about my weekend, Paulie, of the Seals losing and getting knocked out of the playoffs with 2 seconds left? How about my adult league team getting walked off in the 10th? This is the worst weekend I've had in
Wave
months.
lost. Hey, the loyal one. But they may be out of business. This is fantastic. Everything is great here in San Diego. Thank you for joining us. I hope your heads are right. All right, it is a torture chamber Monday with Ben and Woods. Got a daily ditty selection coming up, and we will get things started this week. All right, you know what? We're here for you. Let's all strap in for the next 3 hours and 42 minutes on San Diego's #1 sports station. Get a little check of traffic here on 97.3 The Film.
It's a good choice. Puts you in a little bit better mood.
I feel like I've heard this on a local casino commercial or something.
You might have.
Feels very familiar.
Buck 09.
My town.
My town. Right here.
Can't be beat. Yeah. I know this one.
This is from listener Ryan, who won Take on Woods on Friday.
Yep. Thank you, Ryan. I know. Does he get the theme as well? What's the theme? Bands with
typically, no theme.
He didn't give
us
us
Buck in the name.
Theme.
What choices would we have
Bands
there, Woods? Buck.
Bands with Buck in it.
Buck in it.
Buck Cherry.
Buck and bands.
Buck Cherry.
Buck.
Hey, yo crazy bitch. Pass. I love the cocaine. I love the cocaine.
We'll have
Young Buck.
We'll have Paul.
That's a rapper.
Young Buck's a rapper.
We'll have Paul pick a theme tomorrow.
Yeah.
But congratulations.
Hey, yo crazy bitch.
Jeff Buckley.
Jeff Buckley. I love Jeff Buckley.
I actually could do that theme
all day long.
Please no.
Now I'm just going to be walking around going, hey,
Lindsey Buckingham.
Yeah.
But you blank so good, I'm on top of it.
I'd pick Lindsey Buckingham.
Okay.
Definitely get some Holiday Road or something going.
We can do Buck if you guys want, because I definitely will be playing Crazy Bitch by Buck Cherry.
What does the clean version of that song even sound like?
I think you can say Brooch. That's how Ben says it.
Yeah. If you say it, the FCC is ruled. If you say it
crazy
under your breath a little bit and not as loud as the other words, it's just fine.
You're fine.
It's just fine. You can win the ultimate Vegas weekend. Head to 973thefansd.com/Vegas. Sign up for your chance to win a weekend getaway at Circa Resort and Casino Las Vegas, including 2 nights in a sunset suite and a cabana at Stadium Swim and tons more. That does sound like a lot of fun.
It really does.
Let's start because we have an update on one of the social media controversies from this weekend that exploded on Twitter.
So weird.
This one was from last night's game. Everyone was really upset at the end when Eduardo Perez, and I think we have the audio, made a reference after Mookie Betts' game-tying home run. Paulie?
Mookie Betts home run in the top of the 9th.
Yes.
And then go to break. Coming back from commercial break on the ESPN broadcast, they showed the replay. They showed reactions from the players. The camera panned to Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field, watching the ball sail over Juan Soto's head. And here's what it sounded like.
He brought those hands in. It's exactly what he did right there. Great notion of where that barrel is and where you have to get to it. That's what a superstar looks like, Nando. Mookie Betts redeeming himself after that first inning mishap that he owned.
It fully sounds like he's chiding Fernando Tatis Jr.
That's what a superstar looks like, Nando.
You know, that he's let his team down, whereas Mookie Betts has come through for his team, right. And you need to
Fernando
learn from this
gave
guy.
up the home run.
Yes, Fernando, you can't leave that pitch there. That's what a superstar
it was insulting. There was no doubt about it. The way it came out was insulting.
Where that barrel is and where you have to get to it. That's what a superstar looks like, Nando. Mookie Betts redeeming himself after that first inning mishap that he owned.
But this morning, Eduardo Perez tweeted in reply to someone who was, commenting on that. And this is the English translation. But he says, I didn't mean it for it to come out that way. I was going to say that's what superstars look like without naming anyone else. But when they put Fernando Tatis Jr. on the screen, I mentioned him. I shouldn't have said his name. My fault, 100%. I will be better.
Yeah, and then he was on MLB Network Radio this morning. He goes, and I've been here. He said, as soon as I said it, I cringed. I knew, this did not come out the right way. Hey, tip your cap. Thank you for the apology. And he actually said he's going to reach out to Fernando too.
Great.
Just so you
know.
mean,
for me, actually, even in the moment, and I've had this on television. They always tell you should touch the picture on the screen. So if you're a play-by-play broadcaster or an analyst and the director puts up a shot, you're kind of supposed to reference what the viewer is seeing. And he was talking about Mookie, and then all of a sudden the director put up the shot of Fernando Tatis Jr., and it's kind of instinctual.
So what he should have said was, that's what a superstar does, is Nando watches that ball fly out
or even in that case, I would actually put it more on the director. He shouldn't have put up a picture of Fernando while Eduardo Perez was talking about Mookie Betts being a superstar. Even that was kind of a poor choice. Sometimes, you you don't know what the guy's about to say, and you're about to take shot 3, and Nando's on the screen because he's got a good reaction, but Eduardo's talking about Mookie Betts, and he touches the screen going, oh, there's Nando, hey, that's what a superstar looks like. Nando, it's because he's the one on the screen, and it did feel like that's what Eduardo was doing even back then, but I can't argue. It sounded very bad.
It did.
When
It
came
sounded,
out.
it
And I
sounded,
heard it, I go, what the F did
me
he
too.
just say?
I'm like, did he just? But listen, that's not the. I mean, it was a clunky broadcast from the second it kicked off. The anchorman crap. It's just tired. And again, always we say this after every national broadcast. It's why we love our local guys. And I'm sure if you polled people in Tampa, if they're on Sunday Night Baseball, they're like, no, we love our local guys. This is just how it is. It's just how it is. I mean, it was Dodger fans thought that they were pouching the Padres all night. Padre fans thought they were pouching the Dodgers all night. But it's the facts that they get wrong. Like Ravitch saying, oh, win this game, it'll be a sweep. No, it won't. We lost yesterday in heartbreaking fashion, Carl. It's very clunky, very misinformed. And again, it always goes to it shows this glaring lack of homework done on the national broadcast. And you see it in the World Series.
There's also no way a national broadcaster can ever know a team like Jesse and Tony or Don and Mud. Of course. The best national broadcast.
You can know if they won the day before.
Is almost always going to fall short of even a real mediocre home team broadcast.
Yeah, but you can know if they won or lost the game night before.
You can. That was a mistake. Yeah. That's fine. Mistakes happen. I thought
also forget about.
I thought it was
Anchorman.
It's not just the announcers though. That Anchorman, that's a production choice. The miking up of the players, which I'm not totally opposed to, but you got to be ready to miss Fernando Tatis Jr.'s at bat. Yes,
right.
they showed him swinging, but they were
picture-in-picture.
They were so caught up with the conversation, they were never able to switch to the shot of the play being made, and I've never seen it still. They didn't have a replay of it. I assume it was a line drive at the third baseman because he absolutely murdered a ball. Never even saw where it's going. You get a superstar player, and they can't even figure out a way to show us where the ball went off his bat when he swings and makes an out, to start that inning. That's an inexcusable production choice. Has nothing to do with the announcers. Whether you like them or not.
I'm definitely also on board with miking up one of the home team guys.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that Mookie was going to be the guy when they announced that, and then I thought, well, I guess Manny got it on the road.
Was he on the road?
Yeah, he got it in
that's
Atlanta.
right. He was.
So maybe that is
maybe that's
either
the bit.
That's just a coincidence, or maybe that's their thing is they get a road player. But I agree. If anything, it should be a home team.
Yeah, I think that seems like a no-brainer.
Like I wouldn't have questioned it when we were in Atlanta on Sunday Night Baseball.
If it was
and
Acuna.
they picked Acuna or anybody else on the Braves, that would have made sense.
It was a very quick inning when Mookie was out there.
I mean, one pitch for Fernando, and then Manny got a single, but then there was the double play. And it was the quickest mic'd up inning I think ESPN has ever done.
No doubt. Well, it was nice of him to apologize. But yeah, I mean the whole thing was a train wreck. The game notwithstanding.
All right, we'll go through the game yesterday. Our Padres wrap up is coming up next. We do have a win to talk about from Friday. It wasn't as I said, I didn't think either team was going to sweep. Certainly, once the Padres won the first game, was hoping that they'd be the one to get 2 out of 3. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. Yesterday was they were both chances, really. I mean, you could have won either of those games, but yesterday, obviously,
shoulda.
You're 1 out away. You want to get those. So.
Too bad.
We'll go through the highlights last night. If you watched on TV, you'll get to hear Jesse and Tony's call of it coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Got a regular Monday guest coming up for you today. That's in the second half of the program. Got our friend Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue on a grand old Monday. He'll be with us at 8:35. And then in-season Sammy, pre- and post-game show host Sam Levitt will join us at 9:35 today. All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. All right, it's been a no foreplay right into this weekend against the Dodgers. Got another series against the Dodgers coming up this following weekend in Los Angeles. Woo! I like that. I mean, at least you have the chance to go in and return the favor. You take 2 out of 3 in LA. This weekend's pretty easily forgotten. It's just, the cost of doing business in Major League Baseball. You're going to go through some ups and downs. Now you go in and you lose another 2 out of 3 in LA, have another bad weekend. Then you got to sit on that until August because that's the next time the Padres and Dodgers will meet after this weekend. First, though, it's a road trip to Minnesota to take on the Twins after today's off day on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But we'll get to the Padres wrap-up of last night's game and get into more of the weeds of the 5-2 extra inning loss. Get Jesse's highlights right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. We still have this crash on the westbound King Freeway just before Lemon Grove Avenue. That is blocking the fast lane. The Big O Tires alternate route would be westbound 8. That's looking good for you. Traveling on the southbound 805 just past the 163, there is a collision in which a pickup truck hit the center divide. And an accident on the northbound 5 near the border. This is right before Camino de la Plaza. Looks like a couple vehicles involved. Does not appear to be blocking lanes. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department is working hard to keep San Diego safe and is now hiring. The Sheriff's Department offers rewarding careers with growth and has an opportunity for anyone with integrity that wants to make a difference. Go to joinsdsheriff.net to learn more. That's joinsdsheriff.net. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
You can visit Pity City, but you can't live there.
Did you miss any of the Padres game yesterday?
Oh, it's been a great day today. Can't wait for more.
Oh, God, here we go. Jesus Christ.
Cancel the parade. That's why you play the games.
It's the Padres wrap-up with Ben and Woods.
Slam Diego? More like fail Diego.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
I just felt the way that the roster is built, they would have to outscore their opponents to win.
Here's the pitch from Arias. That swung on, lined into right field and a base hit. That's going to find the gap. That's going to roll, and that's going to give the Padres the lead. Fernando scores. Manny walking into second base. Back-to-back doubles to begin the game, and the Padres lead it 1-0. Bogarts hits one in the air to deep right center. Betts is going back again in front of the wall. Hops up, can't make the catch. Manny will come in to score, and into second base is Bogarts. 2-0 San Diego. 1-1 pitch. Muncy lines it to right field. Fernando charging straight in. Reaches out, slides forward, and makes the catch. Gonna hang a star for Fernando Tatis Jr. Here's Will Smith. He swings, lines one to left field. That'll get down. That'll get the Dodgers a run. Soto able to cut it off before it gets to the warning track. Throw coming into second base, not in time. Smith slides in with a double. And the Dodgers on the board as Freeman crosses the plate. It's 2-1. 1-0 pitch. Swung on. Looped over to short. Bogarts goes up in the air to make the catch and end the inning. Dodgers at 2 on and nobody out. They do not score. Nick Martinez comes on and gets Bush and Outman and Vargas. And we go to the bottom of the 8th with the Padres still in front 2-1. Here's the pitch from Hader. Swing and a high fly ball to deep left center. Soto's going back at the wall. This one gonna go. A game-tying home run for Mookie Betts with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a line drive into left field. Soto charging, can't get there, base hit. Freeman will score, and the Dodgers lead for the first time today. Michael Bush, an opposite field single, and it's 3-2 Los Angeles in the 10th. Pitch to Outman, swung on, hit in the air to deep right field. Tatis going back. He's at the wall looking up. This one gonna go into the Petco porch. A 2-run home run for James Outman. And all of a sudden, the Dodgers lead 5-2 in the 10th. Soto waits. Here's the pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball towards first. Freeman backs up, has it, Long underhand flip in time to the pitcher covering, and the ball game is over. The Dodgers tie it in the 9th and then score 3 times in the 10th to come from behind and take this series with a 5-2 win here this afternoon.
Frustrating. It's, baseball sometimes. We felt good about where we were at the time. Pretty good hitter, really good hitter, got a pitch he could handle, and, ended up being tie game with 2 outs. So it's going to happen sometimes. Hader's been absolutely fantastic and had one more out to get, and Mookie Betts is a tough customer.
He is, man. He is. And Josh Hader's a tough customer, too. It killed me for him. Killed me for Honeywell, too. 2 guys that have really, been massive bright spots for this team. To see those guys serve it up is it's a bit of a tough pill to swallow.
In a different way, too. Hader fell behind Mookie Betts, and, that was on Josh. He talked about it. I put myself in a bad position at 3-1. If you're gonna, I don't even know that he missed. It was right on the black on the inside, and
like they said, he got his hands in and turned on it.
A lot of times, especially on a night, as Petco Park is getting into the evening, most guys can't get around on that. The best they can do is kind of a 350-foot fly ball. You turn on a little bit, but you get in a little on the hands, and that's it. Game's over. But Betts is a great player, and he was able to turn on it. Maybe you want to miss outside, but you don't want to get him to be able to extend his arms either. So it's one of those, you got to come in with a pitch when you fall behind. You don't want to put him on with a walk because they've got, Freddie Freeman's coming up next, a very clutch player,
he's clutch.
He's a lefty, but Hader,
boy, Hader owns his
Hader's got him. So maybe you should have been a little more careful there. Honeywell's the other way. He did such a great job in the 10th inning of getting those first 2 outs, leaving the runner out there. He got ahead of Bush.
New Bush, by the way.
He got ahead of him, and I think it was 1 and 2, and tried to get him to chase outside the zone and couldn't do it. And then, came in with the full count pitch, and nice piece of hitting there by Bush to go the other way. That ball he gets an inch under that. It's a fly ball, a weak fly ball to right, but just happened to barrel it up enough that it fell in front of Juan Soto to tie the game. I'm curious to know if the Padres had gotten out of the top of the 10th inning at 2-2. Would they have been able to score that run in the bottom of the inning?
That's the age-old question for this team, because they have not won. Not only haven't they won a game in extra innings, they haven't even scored 1 run.
Three games, and every single time they have failed to even get that runner home from second base.
That's maddening. It's maddening. You had now again, if you had the exact guys you wanted up in that situation, and let's be honest, 5-2. If these guys are locked in, you're like, fine, we can get. They're spotting us a run there. That's guaranteed. Nando hits 2-run bomb. It's 5-4. And I've got Manny. I got Soto and Manny. Yeah, exactly. And you're like,
move the runner over to third. But in that case, you don't really need to get that runner home. You need base runners. You need to get the tying run, up to the plate.
Manny had a horrible at bat. 96 sinker down the middle twice. Watched at it, and then flailed at the pitch. That's how I feel.
Yeah, he had a 3-hit game.
He did. He drove in a run early. It was great. It was fantastic. I'm not disparaging him. It was a terrible AB in a series of terrible ABs, I think, for the San Diego Padres over the weekend. So yeah, 2 games. Like, oh God, my inner Ben Higgins is poking his little head out like a gopher.
It's been.
This is such a moral victory. Give up. We played them very tough. Our pitching was pretty outstanding until the last inning of yesterday's game. I'm very, very pleased with how Yu Darvish pitched. I'm very pleased with how Blake Snell pitched. I'm very pleased with how Joe Musgrove and the bullpen pitched up until Mookie freaking Betts hits one out of the yard. I'm very pleased. It was 3 spectacular baseball games. We did not win enough of them, but those were 3 gut-wrenching, nail-biting, running to the bathroom to doo-doo baseball games. That's how they were.
I see what you're saying, and there are no moral victories, and this loss could end up being costly.
No
Every
doubt.
game is important. You get down to the end of the season, and you're a game back, 2 games back. Boy, you would have loved to have won this one because you'd be a game up or tied in that case. It
100%.
almost certainly at some point in the year, you'll feel like it really matters. Like, oh man, we could be we could be 2 games better than this. Subtract a loss, add a win, just if you get one more out in that game against the Dodgers. So I'm not minimizing it. It does hurt. It does matter. And you have to win these games when you have the opportunity. I think it underscores, though, had Josh Hader gotten that last out, had Mookie just missed it, we probably would be a little too full of ourselves this morning.
Could be.
And it really,
are you saying this is good for us?
It wouldn't really change. I don't know if it's good or bad for the Padres.
No, I mean us.
It wouldn't really have changed the nature of the series. It really would have been the same series. When you go through
3 tough games,
3 days, 8 2/3 innings, and you've got that lead. Just because you lost that one, had you gotten that final out, it's essentially almost the same series. Someone's got to win the game. Someone's got to lose the game in the end. Do we like how the Padres are playing or not? I generally do.
Yeah.
I just want the offense to be a little bit better. And I don't know what the solution is. I've seen on my Twitter feed, I've seen on our YouTube stream, they got to drop Juan Soto in the lineup. To me, that's your frustration talking. Juan Soto has the best on-base percentage on this team, even through his struggles. He has the 3rd best OPS on this team. Juan Soto needs to be batting near the top of the lineup every single time. Well, dropping Juan Soto is not the answer. Who do you want to raise up there? Jake Cronenworth is not hitting or producing as well as Juan Soto. Ha-Seong Kim certainly is not. Austin Nola, Adam Engel. I mean, none of these guys are worthy of the top of the order. So you're kind of locked in. It's going to be Tatis, Machado, Soto, Bogarts as your top 4.
You kind of feel like, and we talked about it. I think Craig Elston mentioned this too. This is your team. Like it's a ride or die situation. And it is. It's just, this is the team. And they mentioned this on the broadcast. I want to get a little bit more into this today. I don't know if I agree, but I think it'd be fun to talk about with our pal Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue. You heard them talking on the broadcast last night about how this trade deadline, multiple GMs, multiple people in baseball are saying this could be one of the most unceremonious trade deadlines of all time. So knowing how many guys we have locked in already, this is right. I feel like it's ride or die with this team. Yeah, AJ's going to add a bullpen arm. He's going to add a bullpen arm. He always does. No problem there, because you can't trust that Suarez is going to come back this season. I have not heard anything positive about him. We missed the hell out of him this weekend. I just, knowing that and feeling that way, this is our team. Like, this is what we got. We're going to have to figure out a way to get, sounds weird. We're going to need to figure out a way to get production from Manny Machado, Juan Soto, Xander Bogaerts, Jake Cronenworth, Fernando Tatis Jr., Ha-Seong Kim, Trent Grisham, and Austin Nola with the bench pieces that we have.
Maybe Campy comes back and, gets a little bit locked in, gets some more playing time. But other than that, the only way this team gets better is for the players on this team to play better, a little bit better.
And I know that can be a bit of a tough pill to swallow, but at least they're good players. At least they've been good players in their career, and you're not sitting here going, well, I know he's a rookie, but if we could get some production out of him, like, they're good players with track records. That's the only thing I can hang my hat on. That's it.
And, most teams have a mix of guys who are, overperforming and a little underperforming. Honestly, you look at the Padres. Xander got off to a great start, but he's kind of fallen back to the mean. Is there one guy on this team that you can say is performing up to their career standard?
Tatis.
So far, yeah. I mean, he's got an 830 OPS, which is very good.
That's
but
good.
Tatis can be in the 900 to 1,000 range. He can be dominant
easily.
He's not everything he can be yet. He's performing well, but he's not everything he can be.
Mm-mm.
Manny's below what we expect. Manny,
but confidence wise,
yeah.
I'm not soiling myself when he walks the plate like I am when Juan Soto comes
But is he everything he can be right now? No. Nor is Manny, nor is Soto. Right now, not Bogarts isn't. Cruz isn't.
Cronenworth
certainly not. Kim is not. We've seen him better. We've seen Nola better. We've seen Grisham better. I mean, Grisham's doing okay, but we've seen him better too. The fact that they're still above 500, despite every single player having only really to go up at this point, is why I'm still encouraged about this season.
Yep.
All right, we will come back and talk about Saturday's somewhat equally frustrating game in a different way.
Really ready to get to Friday.
Yeah, and play a little Take on Woods as well. Hour number 2 of Ben and Woods next here on 97.3 The Fan. All right, just to move on from one excruciating loss to the next. I mean, in a different way on Saturday, it was excruciating. Blake Snell going 6 innings, giving up 1 hit.
If we're swatting this game, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, I'd say your biggest strength was Blake Snell pitching his ass off. He did. He had the walk, murdered him, obviously, because he gives up a 2-run homer next. But that's it. That's it against a good Dodger lineup. Good enough. And he really pitched well.
He missed that pitch to Chris Taylor. You should be able to throw 97 pitches. 96 of them are pretty decent and win that game.
One pitch.
That was rough, and that was the game in which I think you were really up in arms about the offense not being able to get a runner home from third. Obviously, in the 8th inning when the Padres did finally get to the Dodgers, and Dustin May was very good.
Hey, let me start there. Let me start with Dustin May. Pitching Ninja put out a video. I mean, and you see it on TV, and it's so hard for all of us. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying, hey, you guys don't get it. It's hard for all of us to understand why Juan Soto in the first inning was bailing out, was going, and when the ball ends up right down the middle. And I'm going, there's got to be something going on. Hassan Kim, same thing, bailing out, and 2 balls just zip, zip right down the middle. And you're going, what the hell's going on? Pitching Ninja throws it up, talks about the run. 23 inches of run, Ben, on a 99-mile-an-hour 2-seamer. 23 inches of run is 2 feet of run. So Soto, you have that long to make up your mind. That ball's at his hip, and he's like, F this. I'm not standing in there and wearing 99 on the hip, and it just right down the middle. And you're like, oh, my God. So he was incredible. Dustin May was as good as I've ever seen him throw. Incredible.
And that's saying something because he's thrown really well for a while.
No question. Especially it feels like against us. I know we've put it to him before, but oh my God, he had his filthy stuff working. So I was giving them a full pass for getting worked by Dustin May to that point until he came out of the game. That's when you needed to make your move.
And the Padres battled in that game. I mean, they kept it close. Then bullpen did their job, and
defense, bullpen.
They got to the 8th inning. They got the little double by Brett Sullivan, and then Fernando Tatis Jr. came through. He's been good. He's been clutch. He's been good. He's been driving the ball for the most part, looking like Fernando Tatis Jr. Padres are now within 1 with a runner at second, nobody out. Manny Machado hits a ground ball. Not the right way, to advance the runner, but because it's Nando.
Still made it.
Makes a beautiful read. Gets to third base. Not only gets to third base on that play, doesn't even draw a throw from Freddie Freeman.
No, Freddie put it in right in his pocket. He's like, what am I doing?
I can't throw this guy out. This guy is such a good base runner. I don't even have a chance to get him at third base on a grounder to the left side.
I'm better off putting this in my pocket than risking a low throw or an overthrow to let the tying run in. So you're sitting there, and Nando's on third. And again, guys, knowing who's on third, knowing who's now at the plate, it could have been, honest to God, it could have been a pop-up to shallow right field, shallow center field, shallow left field. Nando's scoring. He's scoring. It really didn't matter where you hit it in the air. Unless it was sky high in the infield to the pitcher or first baseman, he's not going to score. Anything else, I even think if the shortstop takes 7 steps back to make the play on his back heels, I still think Nando goes, and I still think he makes it. He makes those kind of plays all the time. Juan Soto feebly grounding out to Freddie Freeman. I just wanted to die. I wanted to die, and I knew at that moment, this is over.
Bob Melvin had some interesting comments about the strategy there. Like, do you send Fernando on contact knowing he's such a dangerous base runner? And he said the play was read the hop.
Read the hop.
And if it's a high chopper, even if it's going right at one of those infielders,
100%.
Nando was like, he was supposed to go, but he read it right. It was not, he was going to be out.
It was no question.
Unless they completely booted it or threw the ball, 3 feet up the line, any major league player, infielder, is going to make that play. And Fernando Tatis Jr., even matrix sliding, is almost certainly going to be out at home.
And we would have died.
And then you've got a runner at first and 2 outs, and you're much worse off. You don't give Xander Bogaerts a chance to drive in, the winning or the tying run from third base. So he made the right read. just for, Juan Soto did not come through in that situation where they wanted him and needed him to come through.
Yeah.
So that was a fail on Juan Soto's part. He would tell you the same thing. He didn't get his job done.
Yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt. That was a really, really cruddy outcome from, again, I'll fall back on those were 3 pretty awesome baseball games. They really were. I mean, we've also been used to here the Dodgers coming into town and throwing up 8 and 9 spots.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Like,
that was not this.
No,
this was a competitive series.
This was a really good series. I know that we didn't win. All we needed was one of those in the last 2 games, and today is a totally different mood. But yeah, winning series is very important, Ben. Whether it's against the Dodgers, whether it's against the Twins, the Reds, win series, and you had a chance at home to win both of those last 2 games, and you didn't get the job done, man.
Need a contestant for Take on Woods. Going to play here in about 3 minutes. If you want to try to qualify for our new prize this week, it is another Vegas giveaway. I'll give you some of the details in a moment. Call now, 833-288-0973. Get ready to play our musical trivia challenge against Woodsy here in a couple of minutes. 833-288-0973. Need that contestant right now. The lines are wide open, so this is your chance to get in. I want to talk about Blake Snell just for one more second.
I was just going to say that's such a tough L for him.
It always mystifies me because the knock on Blake Snell is he does seem to have a $1 million arm and a bit of a 2-cent head sometimes. Yet when he faces the Dodgers,
he just turns
the team
on.
that turns great pitchers into weak need. I got to go up against the Dodgers, and they get all. He always steps up against the Dodgers.
He does.
No one in baseball pitches better against the Dodgers than Blake Snell, and he did it again with 6 great innings. And guess what? His next start will be against the Dodgers on Friday night at Dodger Stadium. Lines up pretty well. It's one of those inconsistencies. Blake Snell is one of the most mystifying, hard to understand players in Major League Baseball to me. And I really do like him. It's just, I think it's hard for a manager or a GM to have a player that is so hard to count on and know what you're going to get in any situation.
It's got to be. It's got to be so frustrating.
He's too,
as Blake says. It's frustrating.
He's too good to ever do anything other than throw him out there when he's healthy.
Of course.
You got to put him out there.
You're not moving him to the bullpen.
No, he's way too good. He's way to do anything other than start him every 56th day.
I love baseball.
You still are going to, when that day happens, you're going to be biting your nails and you're going to be watching every body language movement that he's got
every
during the game.
Strike he begs for,
stressing about it, and there's nothing you can do about it. And you just got to watch and let him do his thing.
I love those baseball anomalies, like the one guy that owned Tony Gwynn. I can't remember his name. They talked about him in Matt Gianella's podcast. Some journeyman was held him to a 087 average over 60 at bats or something. He is a no name. But it's just the weird anomalies of baseball. Blake Snell against the Dodgers.
Greg Maddux is I had nothing for
Maddux tells the story that, Tony famously hit 440 off of Greg Maddux, but Maddux goes, he was really over 500 for most of my career. And I finally, in the last couple of years, figured it out and just started, throwing balls that didn't break as much. I fooled him by being bad.
I specifically took through uncompetitive pitches to see if he would wave it
just to almost fool him and go, if I look like I'm a terrible pitcher, he's not going to understand that, and maybe I'll get him out. And he did a few times.
I love the anomalies of baseball. And hey, listen, Blake Snell v. the Dodgers is one of them.
All right, we got a contestant on the line. Let's get to it. New prize this month. It is time for Take on Woods. All right, we got Kevin on the line. Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
First timer in our game today?
Yeah.
All right, good luck to you. It's 5 questions of musical trivia. You go first. Woods has left the studio, and then he'll come in, and if you beat or tie him, you will be our first qualifier for our May getaway. It is a 2-night stay at the Westgate, Las Vegas, and tickets to Little River Band, one of my favorites. Little River Band garnered huge chart success with multi-platinum albums, chart-topping hits in the 70s and 80s. You can see them at the International Theater at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino on August 5th, 2023. Now, your advantage, Kevin, is you get to pick the category against Woodsy, and he doesn't get to know it. So here are your choices. Go time. Those are songs or musical artists with go in the name. Who, Me Worry? Those are 5 songs with worry or worried in the title. And The Deep End, which are 5 musical answers that include the word deep. So of those 3, go time, who, Me Worry, or The Deep End? What would you like to play, Kevin?
Geez. What, is there anything like in the 70s and 80s?
Yeah, I mean, they could all have some 70s or 80s in them.
Knowing Ben, they're all probably most.
I usually tend to go with that stuff.
Let's go the go one.
Go time. All right. So again, 5 songs and or musical artists with go in the title or name. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, say pass. We can come back to it if there's time left on the clock. Maybe you'll think of it. Our first song is our 2-second song. I'll even give you a hint. It is from the 80s. You give me the title of the song and the artist, and you will score that point, and then we'll go on from there. So, Kevin, are you ready to play?
Sure.
All right. Remember, the category is go time. So go is your key word. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Kevin. Let's take on Woods.
Like Jitterbug, right? It has to have go in the title?
It has go in the title. Yep. All right, pass. Belinda Carlisle was the lead singer for which LA band behind hits including... Correct. Elton John teamed up with English singer Kiki D for which successful 1976 duet?
Oh, geez. Can you play some of it?
I can't play it. You can pass on that one. Try this one. Which hit from Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album begins, "Loving you isn't the right thing to do"?
Oh, geez. It's always so easy on the radio when you're on it. You know what? Pass on that one.
All right. The movie Pretty Woman featured the song "King of Wishful Thinking" by which English band?
Geez, I don't remember that one either. Pass.
All right, let's go back to the 2-second song.
Geez, I don't know. All I know is the Jitterbug.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll give you the answers. You got the one right. So that song is called "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go" by Wham. You got the Go-Go's with Belinda Carlisle. "Don't Go Breaking My Heart" was Elton John and Kiki D. I know you're kicking yourself, Kevin, because you know all of these. It was all 70s and 80s for you. Fleetwood Mac's song "Loving You Isn't the Right Thing to Do." That's "Go Your Own Way." And the band from King of Wishful Thinking and Pretty Women is called Go West. That was the tough one. We'll see if Woods gets those. My guess is he will, but hang on the line, Kevin. You never know. All right, Kevin's score. New contestant is locked in.
I like when the new guys.
Yeah, I do too. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Kevin.
"Wake Me Up Before You Go Go" by Wham.
Correct. Belinda Carlisle was the lead singer for which LA band?
The Go-Go's.
Correct. Elton John teamed up with English singer Kiki D for which successful 1976 duet?
"Don't Go Breaking My Heart."
Correct. Which hit from Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album begins, "Loving You Isn't
Go
the
Your
Right..."
Own Way.
Correct. The movie Pretty Woman featured the song "King of Wishful Thinking" by which English band?
Is it Go West?
It is.
Oh, yes.
All right. Well, that was going to be a tough one to win against Woods, but a 5-1 victory to start the week for the host of the program. Thank you for playing, though, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks
Kevin
a lot.
was he said, "Man, this is so much easier when I'm listening on the radio."
Right.
And
It is.
And that is so true. I've heard that from many other people.
It's
I'm
easy
getting
to
4, I'm getting 5 every time when I'm listening, and then I call in, and it's just so much harder.
You
It's
guys-
so much harder.
You know how many runners I've driven in from third with less than 2 outs from sitting on my couch? All of them. Every single one. I have a 1,000% chance of driving in a runner from third with my fat ass sitting on the couch.
You are an MVP at this game, though. There's no doubt about it. You're an all-star, a future Hall of Famer at Take on Woods.
You know, I want to give the people what I promised them. I want to be like the anti-Juan Soto
But even
right
some
now.
days you come
some
up
days
short,
I come up
you
short.
fail,
It happens.
you have the mental block, you can't think of
Yeah.
it. You don't hit 100 every time.
You literally lost your last game.
I
before
hope
this.
I don't hit 100 because that would be 1 out of 10.
That's
Yeah,
true.
It's true.
Yeah. But listen, no, it's I hear it all the time. "Oh, Woodsy, I'll slay you." I get 4 or 5 every day. I'm like, well, just call in. Let's just do it then. Let's do it. Don't talk about it. Be about it. But hey, Kevin, thank you. Don't let that scare you.
Tired of hunting for the latest clips about the Padres? With the Odyssey app, you can get all the latest podcast episodes all in one place, and it's easy. Just download the app, create an account, search for the teams you care about, follow them, and boom, just like that, latest from your team right on your homepage. Download the Odyssey app today to get started. All right, we've got Don't Do This coming up next. We haven't really discussed what you've got here. I've got a couple of choices.
Let's talk about the scoreboard fiasco, as it were.
No. We're gonna hold off.
Oh, we're holding that?
That's a whole segment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a whole segment. Don't worry about
All
that.
right. Well, then I hope you have some other stuff.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Oakland A's.
yeah.
And their
Oh,
broadcast.
yeah, we got to talk about
All
that.
right. That's
That is kind of the definition of a don't do this.
yeah.
I think that's the first place to go. Coming up next with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic.
Basically, it's a flub. We can't even play the flub.
On 97.3 The Fan.
The reason I said that is I thought
Don't forget, all guests on Ben Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. It's a Cespedes family barbecue. Grand Ole sort of Monday with Jake Mintz coming up at 8:35. Right now, though, don't do this, and Woodsy is going to get us started.
I don't want to.
I mean, you have to. I mean, we're the flub show. When you have the biggest flub, perhaps, in the history of televised flubs, even if you can't play it on the air, you sort of have to talk about it.
This was so gnarly. Adam sent this to us on Friday night. He said, you can't play this. And do you see what I responded? Obviously.
Thanks, boss.
Thank you, man. I didn't know that I couldn't play the end.
Call him the best brand manager in the business.
I didn't know I couldn't play the end.
We can't even play it really beeped out. Can we play it beeped out?
Here's what it sounded like beeped.
This was in the pre-game.
Yeah, pre-game
segment.
Yeah, the little welcome when they're two sitting up in the dugout.
Glenn Kuiper and Dallas Braden, Oakland A's broadcast.
We had a phenomenal
in Kansas City.
Right.
We had a phenomenal day today. League Museum and Arthur Bryant's Barbecue.
All right. The
blank
League Museum. He meant to say the Negro League Museum, and he didn't. He said the other one. And so the moment happens, goes by, and then about 5 innings later, he says,
I got the apology here.
Oh, you do? Go ahead.
Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. I just wanted to, a little bit earlier in the show, I said something didn't come out quite the way I wanted it to.
Do you think?
And I just wanted to apologize if it sounded different than I meant it to be said. And like I said, I just wanted to apologize for that.
Right. There's a deep drive by Castellanos.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, we're the Phillies playing at that point.
So I saw it and I just went, oh man, that guy, that's as bad as it gets. So then I saw the statement from Bob Kendrick, who we have had on this program before, is one of the best human beings on the planet. He is the president. He's the president of the Negro League Baseball Museum in Kansas City. He said, my official statement on the Glenn Kuiper incident is below. I'm aware of the unfortunate slur made by Glenn Kuiper. I welcomed Glenn to the NLBM yesterday. I know he was genuinely excited to be here. The word is painful and has no place in our society. And while I don't pretend to know Glenn's heart, I do know that my heart is one of forgiveness. I hope you all find it in yourselves to do the same. And that apology, or that statement just blew me away by Bob. Bob is such a phenomenal guy. We had him on the show one time. I would love to talk to him again about anything. He is such a great guest. And I do feel bad. It's a terrible word. You can't say it. And I saw a lot of talk about it this weekend too, of, well, it just flowed too easily out of his mouth. I saw that take, and I'm not saying any take is wrong. I'm really not. Obviously, it's not something you can say. You can't say that. You can't say it on the air. If he loses his job, he has been suspended, by the way. That's an update to the story. He was suspended. He said, I could not be more sorry and horrified by what I said. I hope you will accept my sincerest apologies.
He was suspended overnight. He was not back for Saturday's game.
Yeah. It's gnarly.
As Bob Kendrick said, don't know what's in his heart.
Right.
I guess what I would say is that if it comes out, there's a couple of people who say, oh, yeah, I've heard him say it off the air before. And
this is common.
There's a reason why he made that mistake, because it's, part of his language. Then done, over. If he has never said that word in his life, and it really was just a flub of letters that just came out wrong, no one should ever lose their job because of a flub of letters that came out wrong. Says the guy who flubs more than anyone else on the radio.
Absolutely fair.
And has to read raps every once in a while that include that lyric. I have to dodge.
I did see one take, and obviously there's no way to prove it, but one was like, no, he was saying it all day. He was saying it with his buddy Dallas there. If you know Dallas Braden too, Dallas was catching grief, which I found a little bit ridiculous. Well, he didn't jump. He acted like he wasn't even surprised. No, he heard it and he just stared straight ahead.
Frozen. What else?
Which is
so caught off
that's
guard.
what Ben wants me to do when he says here in Dallas. or State Fart Stadium, but I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to stare straight ahead.
That I have no idea what the right way to react would have been if Dallas Braden.
You can't go. Whoa!
I don't think that's what you meant to say, buddy.
I don't think you can do that either.
Then you're calling attention to it. You're wondering, did I hear that right? Did I just mishear it? Did he say it and I misheard it? You just don't. You're afraid to say anything at all.
He froze.
All right, I will go for my don't do this to Game 4 of the NBA Western Conference semifinals last night in Phoenix. The Denver Nuggets, the Phoenix Suns, battling it out. The Suns trying to even the series, and in the second quarter, had a very odd incident in which a loose ball ended up bouncing into the first row of seats at the Footprint Center, and the ball was kind of being held by actually a couple of fans. Sort of had it, and Nikola Jokic, the two-time MVP for the Nuggets, ran over. He likes to do this where he wants to get the ball back quick, put it in play. Let's get going. Because if they're ready to play, the referees are supposed to let them play. You don't have to wait for the other team to all get set defensively, even on an out-of-bounds play. But the fan wouldn't really give him the ball back. He was trying to keep it away from Jokic and eventually
cradling it.
he was kind of cradling it. And eventually another fan kind of took it, and Jokic ended up elbowing this fan who was wearing a green jacket. I don't know if you can say he was trying to do damage, but he certainly hit him with his elbow. The fan
shoved him.
goes, falling backwards.
I don't think the fan made contact, but he was definitely like in his bubble.
A little bit.
Yeah.
He did a little bit.
A little bit,
like a hand on a shoulder.
Here's the thing. Fan wasn't just a fan. He was the owner of the Suns, Matt Ishbia, their new 43-year-old owner of the team. And of course, they then stopped play. They went to look at the review, and Jokic definitely made contact. I think if anyone has watched anyone react to an elbow, Ishbia was definitely doing a bit of a flop on that, and he did. He drew a technical foul on Jokic for his team.
It was awesome. The flop was it was unbelievable. I go,
He flew back 15 feet.
Yeah, he was unharmed, uninjured in the incident. They didn't throw. I'm glad they didn't throw out Jokic for the game.
They're not suspending.
They were
him
both kind of in the wrong a little bit. Jokic, no matter what, no matter how quickly you want to get playing, even if the fan is being obnoxious, let the referee handle it. You never go and put hands on a fan or accidentally even touch a fan.
But there was an inordinate amount of people down there, like an inordinate amount. It was chaos. It didn't make any sense. But hey, smart move by the owner of the Suns.
Yeah.
You can run out, draw the foul, and get a technical.
Now, Jokic still got his 53 points. Had an unbelievable game, but one of the highest scoring games ever in a loss because Devin Booker and Kevin Durant both scored 36. Booker is so on fire. I mean, I think he was at like 32 for 41 at some point, shooting insane, and the Suns even the series at 2 with a 129-124 win as the series goes back to Denver for game 5.
Nuggets head coach Mike Malone had some colorful
After
comments
the game,
after the game. He was reminded that it wasn't just a fan, it was an owner.
I'm still not really sure what happened. I haven't seen a video of it. I think it's crazy that Nikola got technical foul in that situation. He's going to get the ball, and some fan is holding on to the ball like he wants to be a part of the game. Just give the ball up, man. You know what I mean? And they deemed Nikola doing something that was excessive, I guess, and they gave him the tech. But I still don't really understand it.
You think the fans, the owner of the Suns, made any difference?
I don't give a shit. I mean, it's
not my
I really don't care.
not my team's owner, so just a fan.
All right, I'll get us for do this. This is a great one.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
You guys have all familiar with Liam Hendricks, who is the closer of the Chicago White Sox. He was diagnosed with cancer. He's beaten cancer, and he was back working in a rehab assignment. And as he took the mound, both teams spilled out of the dugout, and he had on his undershirt was "I kicked cancer's ass." It's cool, but he was in his uniform and he was trying to pitch, like he was trying to get his work in. Both teams come out of the dugouts and they're standing ovation, and he looks and he smiles and he waves, and you can tell they're like, "What? What is he getting mad? What is he getting like upset about?" He was emotional, obviously, but there was also like "I'm embarrassed. This is why."
Through my warm-up pitches, and then they made it at a PA announcement, and both teams kind of got out and started like clapping, which is don't get me wrong, it's really, really nice, and I very much appreciate it. Maybe very emotional, but I'm a guy who pitches on anger, and it's really hard to get angry when you know that the other team's full of nice people that would do something like that. So that was a little tough to get locked in. And then being wet, I slipped on the first pitch, and then had to kind of finagle my mechanics a little bit just to make sure that I was getting it down there all right. But hey, a clean inning and it is a clean inning with a scoreless and a strikeout, so that's always good.
I'm a guy that pitches on anger, and it's hard to be
All
angry
right,
at all
Padres
those nice
fans.
guys.
If Liam Hendricks ever comes in against your team, you know what to do.
Yeah, Leo!
We love you.
Not only you're
awesome.
Yeah, not the fans, the players.
Yeah, everyone.
Hey, welcome back, buddy. It's good to see you, pal. We don't care.
If you're the batter,
man, that was a good
pitch.
Have fun out there.
It's like,
that's
man,
a great
it's so
bit.
good to see you out there on the mound. We love you.
It's a great bit. That is don't and do this.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we finally get to talk about a win for the Padres on Friday, and yet we still have to talk about what happened at the end of that game that caused everybody to melt down a little bit on the scoreboard. The meme that was heard around baseball on Friday night.
I was legitimately speechless at the responses. Speechless.
The responses, the fact that it happened in the first place,
the pearl clutching. Holy,
is it possible for everybody to be a little bit wrong in this situation?
I think so.
Yeah, we'll talk about it coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Before we get to Meme Gate or Meme Ghazi or whatever we're calling it.
Mean Gate. Mean Ghazi. Wow.
Got some good news for Padres fans. Tomorrow, the big day for the release of the first episode of Matt Scraby's new podcast, 12 Games in October. Podcast recaps the 2022 Padres playoff run with each episode covering one of the playoff games. Starting tomorrow, you'll be able to download episode 1, which focuses on how the Padres got into the playoffs and a deeper look into some improbable home runs in Game 1 of the Wild Card Series against the Mets. Hear play-by-play from the games, some analysis from Tony Gwynn Jr. Just search 12 Games in October in the Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcast. And here's a little taste of what you can expect from 12 Games in October.
The probability that Josh Bell would change the outcome of this game was, quite frankly, slim. This wasn't the regular season, though. Unexplainable occurrences happen in the postseason. Any player could become a legend overnight. Postseason baseball is unpredictable, unexplainable, and maddening. What happened next? Had all three.
Runner on first, 2 outs, no score, just underway. Game 1. And the 3-1 pitch hit in the air to deep left center field. Canna and Nimmo both going back. They are looking up. It's going to go! A 2-run homer for Josh Bell. Second of his career against Max Scherzer, and the Padres pounce.
A heck of an introduction to your first playoff at bat.
You could say Josh Bell hitting a home run for the first time in 22 games was unpredictable. You could say that Josh Bell hitting a home run off of Max Scherzer in his first career postseason at bat was unexplainable. And if you're a Mets fan, Josh Bell hitting his first home run in the last 22 games off of Max Scherzer in his first ever postseason at bat was maddening.
Lots more of that with Matt Scraby coming up on the podcast, the 2022 Padres playoff run. It's called 12 Games in October. Again, you can search it on the Odyssey app. Josh Bell, by the way, hitting 225 with 3 homers right now for the Cleveland Guardians, his new team that he signed with, 708 OPS.
Yeah.
Walking a little bit, but not doing anything spectacular.
Yeah. He's really fallen off. Man. He was really good in Pittsburgh. I bet he wishes he had stayed in Pittsburgh. They're having a great time. Well, they were. They're not anymore. They've hit the skids a little bit in Pittsburgh as well. So
honestly, had the Padres won either of the last 2 games, plus Friday night's absolute fun and magic at Petco Park, we'd be having quite a different show this morning.
I'd be hammered right now. Champagne, the whole bit. I would be.
You cannot I mean, we were one effing out away.
All right. So are we talking about scoreboard gate here?
We will right after. Yes.
All right.
Right after a check of traffic here.
I got to pull the curtain back on a conversation I had with one young DePaul Reindl.
Next, after traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family. Here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego County Sheriff's Department. Westbound King Freeway is at it again. This time it's a crash right before the 805. Those vehicles are over the right shoulder and traveling on northbound 805 before Governor. An accident in the fast lane. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department is working hard to keep San Diego safe and is now hiring. The Sheriff's Department offers rewarding careers with growth and has an opportunity for anyone with integrity that wants to make a difference. Go to joinsdsheriff.net to learn more. That's joinsdsheriff.net. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I guess we were all feeling the same way after Friday night.
I called young DePaul Reindl on Saturday as I was going down to get the mail. We have a long walk to get the mail at my house. And I said, all right, so what are your thoughts on the scoreboard gate? So if you missed it, which I can't imagine you're listening to this radio program, you don't know what we're talking about, but in the interest of doing a good job at the mechanics of radio, after the win on Friday night,
Fernando Tatis, 2 home runs off Clayton Kershaw,
massive.
Petco Park, electric on a Friday night,
just bananas.
Cinco de Mayo, the sombrero is out.
It was just nuts.
It goes into the pantheon
of great wins.
Like the coming back from the pandemic game.
Yes,
even some of those playoff wins. It had that kind of electricity and vibe at Petco Park.
Well, and Clayton had been pitching so well to this point. Hadn't walked anybody. We were drawing walks off them. We were
5 of them,
5 walks, big hits, the whole thing. Nando with 2 bombs.
Darvish was good.
Darvish was really good. It was great. It was a great win. So at the end, just for a brief second, the scoreboard operator throws up the crying Kershaw meme. And it's Kershaw with the pouty face.
No, they didn't invent that meme.
No, that thing's been around
forever. That
meme
just exists. It's out there.
There's about 100 different renditions of it.
Not a guy that's had a ton of success in the postseason, and there's always a shot of him like slumped down looking at the iPad or like
this is
pouting.
Specifically the one after
Last year.
were eliminated by the Padres.
So they throw it up.
Added a teardrop to the meme.
To the meme. They throw it up on the board. It's up there it's like a flash.
2
It
seconds.
goes up and then it comes down. People saw it, screenshotted it. The world ended. I mean, the Twitter exploded, like the likes of which I've never seen. It was gas. It was gas on a flame. So I laughed. I said, "Oh man, that's fantastic. Like that's great. It's a scoreboard. It's not the players aren't doing it. They're not cutting to Juan Soto doing, mocking Clayton Kershaw. It's nothing to do with the players. Scoreboard operator throws it up. I thought it was great. And it's fun. It's harmless. It's a scoreboard. Scoreboards do stuff like this all the time. As a matter of fact, they did one in Los Angeles. Who plays in Los Angeles?
Dodgers.
The Dodgers play in Los Angeles. Oh, the LA Dodgers put match this player to their doppelganger. And they did Jose Altuve and they did a garbage can next to him, right? They're taking shots. It's gentle ribbing from a scoreboard operator. Happens all the time. Teams will now when they send out the score, they'll throw a little shade. It's literally harmless. Well, holy smokes. So I called Paulie. I go, what are your thoughts? He goes, I thought it was funny. Got to win one of these next 2 games. I go, exactly. I said mostly for us, selfishly, the tone of the show on Monday is the difference is the Grand Canyon from how the show's going to go. If they drop the next 2, if they just win 1, it's going to be totally different. You got to win this series now. And it does, for me, it wasn't bulletin board material. It wasn't poke the bear.
I saw a lot of that from like olds at the UT.
I saw a lot of.
You're not the players don't give a damn.
No, they don't.
If you're doing anything, you're giving Dodger fans ammunition, I guess.
But the thing is like if another player, if they show Soto imitating it, right? If they show Manny doing if that's different, that would piss me off. Like, hey man, where's the professional courtesy? That's more than a scoreboard operator throwing it up or a team tweeting something or whatever. So I didn't have any problem with it. I did have a problem with people soiling themselves over it, soiling themselves. Like they should be, there should be a public apology to Clayton Kershaw tomorrow. Are you kidding me? From longtime San Diegans that are in the media here, there should be a public apology. Peter Seidler should have done a press conference.
You did see that Bob Melvin went and
said hello. Yeah, he said hello and said, hey, Bob Melvin also didn't know what a meme was the next day. So, hey, if
he's like, hey, I don't really know what I'm apologizing for. But
like, I saw we need a full apology from the Padres organ. It's classless. It's like, oh my God, dude, where have we lost our way?
So can I say that while I feel like the reaction was way, way beyond the pale, anything that needed to happen, probably wouldn't have done it if it was up to me. If I was in charge of the scoreboard, wouldn't have thrown up that meme, especially after the first game of a 3-game series. Are you tempting a little bit of fate just by doing that on the first game of a 3-game series?
No, because that's when Clayton Kershaw pitched.
True.
You're not going to put it up. You're not going to put it up. Well, maybe you do. If you win the series, you put up crying Kershaw, but you didn't. It's when he pitched. You beat him. Was there a better answer that you could have given than what Clayton Kershaw said? It's the standard, the smartest thing to say, and I feel like he really believes it. I mean, if I pitch better, they don't put that meme up. If you don't like it, pitch better. That's kind of the new thing in baseball. Like, hey, if I don't want Tatis pimping a home run off me, better not serve up a bomb, because you saw Dustin May, big strikeouts the next night coming off. Yeah, F yeah, jumping up. Fine. You did it. Great job. But you got to know that Tati's going to do a little dance, make a little love when he hits one as well. I don't think the players have any problem with it whatsoever. I mean, none whatsoever. So, I thought the pearl clutching and hand wringing, it was out of control. The demand for a public apology from the San Diego Padres to the Los Angeles Dodgers for putting up a meme. You got to be kidding me. A press conference the next day with Peter, Eric Grupner. Maybe we bring in Trevor Hoffman to stand there and I'll apologize and capitulate to the LA Dodgers. Oh my God. Tempe, are you available? Can you come by? Let's get all the old guys. The other thing too that really chapped my ass was some of the people that have such a problem with baseball right now. And it's the back in my day stuff. I mean, like, I love Kurt Bavacqua. I do. I love KB. I absolutely love him. I think he's hysterical. He had a hat that said Dodger blew my ass, and he wore it around. He called Tommy Lasorda the fat Italian. Not like the UT said that the Chargers leaving was like Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor. Like, let's settle down before we get on the pulpit about, harmless memes.
Oh, you mean Fernando Tatis Jr. shouldn't get 98 to the ribs because he wore a sombrero after his home run?
That's it, man. That's it. And like, by the way,
God,
this stuff has been going on forever. This stuff happened when these old school guys plays. I respect those old school guys. When I see those guys sliding in a second with intent of killing the shortstop, there is a part of it. It's like, hell yeah, go get it. That being said, they don't do it anymore. You got to let it go. You got to.
I know you're coaching Tim Flannery's grandson
Yeah,
in
boy.
T-ball, and Tim was on social media as well. Very old school. I like Tim a lot, but I totally disagreed with his take that Paulie was referring to. That the Tatis home run celebration, the trot around the bases, the hat. Tim argued that you can't do that because, well, now you're going to take one to the ribs, and what happens if you break your hand? And now you're costing your team by over celebrating. That makes no sense to me. You're making it seem as though the other team has no control over what they do whatsoever, that they can't help themselves, that if they feel the slightest bit of offense, that the only response is to try to throw at someone
somebody
and injure them. That is on the opponent. If you can't handle a celebration,
the
by the
only
way,
guy in baseball that would do that is Madison Bumgarner. He doesn't have a team.
all 30 teams have over-the-top home run celebrations.
100%.
And Fernando Tatis
hate
Jr. is by far not the only one that has his own little home run trot that goes around. You hit a home run, you should celebrate. It's very hard to do.
Jazz does the Euro step when he hits home. It's great. It's fun as hell. And
Rosarena.
Yeah, Rosarena stops. I don't look
if you hit a home run, you stand in the box and you like point at the pitcher and you shake your finger at him or something.
That, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you might be
showing him up
wearing one.
Yeah.
If you're running around the bases, you do a little stutter step. You're just firing up your crowd, your dugout.
It's just
that's what baseball needs. They need more of that, not less of that. Stop trying to adjudicate that out of the game. Old school guys, it's not you're making the game worse.
It's not, and it's not personal. It's not personal to the pitcher. It's not personal to the other team. The guys that hit a home run, and there's still guys that hit a home run and put their head down and run around the bases. I'm not ripping them either. I'm not coming here saying you're lame, dude. That's terrible. Show some heart. I'm not saying that.
How about Wander Franco's little flip up? What we talked about last week.
People lost their
Jeff
minds.
Passan came on and said, "I love it for the game." I mean, it's not like he did something that was so impossibly hard. It was fun. They need more fun in baseball. They've made the game faster. They've made it. Honestly, to me, it's more enjoyable than it's ever been watching a baseball game.
Somebody made the really good point. We play the Dodgers in LA this week. If they win game 1 and Manny and Tatis have a bad game and they put on the scoreboard Manny and Tatis yelling at each other in the dugout, I'll tell you what I won't be doing. I won't be demanding an apology from the Los Angeles Dodgers at all. Like, it's harmless.
We'll continue talking about this hour on The Fan, brought to you by Big Box Storage. Visit bigbox.com. Need to rent a storage unit? Forget renting and loading a truck. Big Box Storage delivers the storage unit right to you, loaded to your convenience. Will be picked up and accessible in your storage unit. Need storage? Get the storage you need with free delivery and pickup at bigbox.com. Back after this on The Fan.
You know, I'm in a better mood at 8 a.m. here on Ben and Woods than I was at 6 a.m. I am.
This is a
nice,
gnarly song.
Nice to get it out. It's nice to be with you guys. Didn't get to see you over the weekend. You guys always make me in a better mood. You too, not some of you out there, but Paulie and Ben specifically make me in a better mood. Happy Monday, everybody. It's an off day today, which is worse. It's worse. I think there's probably people like, man, you know, the bullpen could use a blow, and they can. Guys need a day off. Absolutely. I would never begrudge anyone a day off, but I can promise you when they got on their flight last night to Minnesota, they're like, God dang it, I wish we were playing tomorrow. Because the best way to get over one is to go out and win another one. And so, yeah, today's an off day. I don't know what we're going to do. Probably some NBA playoffs on that I am probably going to avoid. But who's playing tonight?
Lakers and Warriors.
Lakers, I know what you'll be doing.
The Knicks and 76ers are playing as well, the early game. So,
okay.
Get some basketball going. Lakers trying to take that commanding 3-1 series lead tonight. Gives me something to do on the Padres off night.
They kicked the crap out of Golden State.
They did
after Saturday night?
Then after the reverse happened in game 2 in Golden State. And then
I didn't mean to bring this up and go into a full basketball segment.
That's all right.
At 8 o'clock.
We never did
Just
any
by the way.
foreplay in the beginning of the show. Can I throw in a little bit right now?
Yeah, I love when you want to do foreplay.
I was kind of off the grid on Saturday. I did watch the game, but I was getting ready for a birthday party. I played golf, actually 36 holes at the GOAT.
Good.
And then
Lord.
I was getting ready, went to a birthday party, 50th birthday party. Buddy Tim, who owns the Regal Seagull and a couple other bars in town. And it struck me when you're probably the same way as well. When we were growing up, you know, kids, teenagers, 50-year-olds seemed old, really old.
Old as
like
dirt.
They were all serious. They were all,
grumpy.
Yeah. And
Grumpy.
now I go and, every 50-year-old that I seem to know, everyone's still fun and, they still like to party and have a good time, and they're irreverent and they're, they don't take things so seriously. And I'm going, is that my perception that's changed, or have 50-year-olds changed in the last 30 or 40 years?
It's a very deep existential type question, because I think of my parents.
You're getting close to 50.
As are you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there a little bit sooner than you. 50. Oh, my God. I didn't think I would see 25.
But, I went around, and they're fun people. These are our friends, but none of them seems like they're old, when they're 50.
I bet you they felt old the next morning.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I felt a little old the next morning too.
There's a line in I think it's who the hell sings it? Is it Merle Haggard that sings The Hangovers? Oh, it's Hank Williams Jr. The hangovers hurt more than they used to. That's the thing that I was telling my wife is younger than me. And I was telling her the other day, she woke up, she's like, I can't move this. I go, just wait. I go, you're still in your early 30s. I go, when you get as hard as she like runs and trains and everything, I go, it's hard to get out of bed.
Oh, I got up this morning and I thought the one thing I never appreciated when I was younger, pre 35 or so, was how it didn't hurt to sleep.
Correct. Dude, same. I have to sleep a certain way, or my hands hurt. My arm falls asleep.
I wake up every
hurts.
morning and something hurts, whether it's the back or the arm or the side. No matter how I sleep, something hurts when I get up. I used to hop out of bed and you're feeling like ready to go. You'd run around like, oh, I'm good to go. I just got a great night's sleep. You never feel that way when you get up, when you get older.
I miss those days in my early 20s when I was playing, I would play like adult baseball and stuff, and I'd go out all night, like drink a bottle of rum, wake up at 8.
Yo ho ho.
And a bottle of rum. I'd wake up at 8:15 for a 9 o'clock game. I would screech into the parking lot and be like, I got it. I'm like Nuke Lelouch. Like, I'm ready. Give me the ball. And like go out and have a ball and feel great doing it. If I have one glass of wine now, I'm like, I'm calling it sick. I got to call in sick. I can't make it in tomorrow. It's terrible. Everything when you get older. Now, you're able to deal with things a lot better at this age than you were back then. Certainly, you got a little more money in your pocket. There's a lot better things to it. The kids are great. Love being a dad, but holy cow, man, it feels a little bit like sliding downhill sometimes.
Well, that's what we have to look forward to.
Yep, for sure.
Really, we're already
living
there,
it. Already
Paulie,
living
that's
it.
what you have to look.
Yeah,
forward
Paulie, that's
to.
what you have to look forward to. That's Really,
you
really
feel
fun.
old yet at all, or you feel fairly young still?
This job makes you old.
Yeah,
This
right.
job absolutely
Getting up as
it
early as we do
absolutely
certainly
makes
doesn't
you old.
help.
Yeah.
That's for
Before
sure.
So, like you're always tired. Not really sore, but I'm always tired.
Always.
I've noticed. Started playing basketball back in March again, and I've noticed progressively, like I'm getting less and less sore afterwards. So that's
repetition.
Positive, I guess. But I still played a game on Thursday night, and we went out and we're shooting around, running around, warming up before the game, and I forgot to put my knee braces on.
Yeah.
And I could feel it, just jogging around the court, putting some shots up. I'm like, something's off here. I'm like, I literally cannot play without knee braces now.
Yeah,
which
30,
sucks.
at 33, that's just where you're at.
But just to wrap things up, this party was at a place called Full Swing Golf in Carlsbad. They make simulators.
Yep.
I had never seen them before. These things they're
fantastic.
Absolutely state of the art. Not inexpensive, but unbelievable. And it wasn't just golf. You could do we did soccer where you could kick against a goalie, who would react and try to stop the shot. They have a putting green that's not even a simulator. It's a real green, and it can change contours as you type it in, and then it projects the line that you need to hit it on, so you can see exactly the break and
that's killer.
the speed that you need to do with a laser beam that shows you. It's unbelievable technology. I was in awe of seeing some of this stuff, and I don't think I'll ever be able to afford it, but it was absolutely killer. If you've got an extra 10 to 40 grand laying around and you like golf or sports like that, check them out. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got to fulfill a dad dream yesterday when I took both of my kids to my game. I had a game at 9 a.m. yesterday at Escondido High. And it had always been, I always wanted my kids to see me play a game, just one. And I thought I was done playing. And it was really, really a cool moment to have them there, while I was playing baseball, and to hear Bo cheering and watching and talking about it. He did hear me griping at an umpire. So that was funny. He goes, "Did that umpire not get mad at you?" I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because you said holy S." And I said, "Yeah, I did. And I apologize for that, son." But it was awesome to have them both out to watch their old man play. It was really something I wanted. It was on for my very short bucket list of things I haven't done. That was one of them, to have them come out and watch. So it was really, really a special day.
Did have a little bit more Padres news, something that we actually learned a week or so ago, and it became public knowledge over the weekend that next season the Padres are in line to open the year in South Korea in a first 2 games of the year, and likely against the LA Dodgers in late March as one of those international showcase games. So Mexico City this year, a much longer trip to Korea next year, Woods.
Is this going to be one of those deals where they open the season and then there's a week off until we see
They'll come back
again?
and play more exhibition games when they return, but they'll start a week before the season even starts. They'll have
let's say March 30th was opening day this year. Let's just call it March 30th, 2024.
Right.
They're probably playing on
the 23rd,
3rd and 24th or something like that in South Korea.
They probably head out on the 18th or 19th.
And I will tell you this, and I'm gonna surprise you here, Woods. I want to go. I would like to go on that trip. This is I've never been to Asia. It's been somewhere I've always wanted to go, and I feel like this could be the reason to finally make a trip and experience the food, the culture, go over there, go to some Padres baseball, do the show from over there. I calculated, so if we go over there with the time difference, our show
would be doing night shows,
would be on from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. The following night. So 10 p.m. tonight until 2 a.m. tomorrow morning would actually be 6 to 10 a.m. here if we did the show. So I don't know when the games will be. If it's a 6 o'clock game, we'd actually be the post-game show coming on right after the game at
but it would air
10
at
o'clock.
6 a.m. here.
It would air at 2 a.m. here, and then our show would come on at 6 a.m. here.
Yeah, right. No, our show, I meant.
Yeah, but the game will likely be, for Padres fans, in the overnight hours.
I remember
unless they play in the morning, which is unlikely.
Probably 10 years ago, the A's
and
did
the
in Japan. Yeah.
No, it was 5 years ago. We had just started on the air.
Because Ichiro went over there.
Yeah, they did it again. I was in college when they did it, and the game started 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah, so there's going to be a couple probably overnight Padres games to start next season, and it looks like they're going to be against the Dodgers. So every game is equally important as every other game, and every Dodger game is a little more important than just your average games. And you only play now, 13 times against your division rivals. So essentially the Padres will be playing almost 20% of their games against the Dodgers in Korea in March to start the season next year. Pretty interesting.
Do you know it's like a 12-hour and 40-minute flight?
I do.
Is that it? I thought it was, I would have guessed longer.
Well, that's direct.
I feel like if we are nice enough maybe to Peter Seidler and Eric Grupner, they could give us a spot on the team plane. Might be a little nicer to go over there that way.
I mean, they're just smoking mushrooms.
The flagship station.
My God.
They want the Ben and Woods live coverage from Korea next year.
Adam is breathing into a paper bag right now.
If they wanted the Ben and Woods coverage, they would have flown us to Mexico. They would have. I mean, I don't ask.
It's not the season opener though. This would be the season opener.
I don't
First
ask
2 games
because I don't want to
year.
know the answer. I just don't ask.
Well, we do have a contract coming up. Maybe we get that in our deal that, hey, we are going to Korea.
Can I go to Hawaii instead?
Probably on the way. Yeah.
We'll drop you off.
We'll pick Woods
Mr.
on the
Seidler,
pick Woods
we just
up
need
on
to
the
make
way
a
back.
pit stop in Honolulu.
Just dropping Woods
Just
off.
drop
here.
Woods off.
He's on vacation.
You think, is this good or bad for the Padres?
It's good for the game. It's good to grow the game. There's a lot. Their travel.
Seeing the videos of the KBO over the last couple of years.
It's insane.
It's going to be.
We know Brian
unbelievable.
O'Grady. If he's still over there,
That's right. We'll have. Can you imagine if he's over there at the time? He can tour us around
Be
a little
amazing.
bit.
Be amazing.
That would
I'm
be
in.
fun.
I'll do it.
All right, I'll
go
do
with
it.
you.
I got to live a little. I'm in.
Kind of puts a little pressure on AJ Preller to not trade Ha-Sung Kim.
Yeah, a little bit.
between now and then.
Here's another one. What if Shohei Ohtani is a Padre?
Oh God, I don't want to think about it.
Then you have Yu Darvish and Shohei Ohtani, and you're playing in Korea. It's like, I mean, I don't know how far apart
I
those
bet
are.
they get
but-
a lot of people from Japan. It's not that far. It's a little
But
flight.
it's almost like maybe do we push the plans and you're like, actually, we're going to play in Tokyo.
I just
or do 2 series. You get a Korea series and then a Tokyo series.
I like it.
Fine
I
by
like
me.
I like it in that it's going to grow the game. But also it does worry me a little bit. I mean, the WBC is great and was awesome, and we fully embraced it. But there's been issues.
I mean, the Padres went 2-0 in Mexico City, and yes, it was tough travel, and they've come back and they went 3-3 this week. It hasn't unraveled their season to go to Mexico City. They'll have time to recover from the Korea trip. It's not like they'll go right back to playing games. They'll have a few days to
I think it'd be cool.
get recovered.
They don't wrap up on a Sunday and have to play like the Rays on a Monday.
Right. Well, first you're going to Chicago, then you're going to Miami,
Right.
and then you're going to South Korea, and then we've got you, coming back home for 2, and
I mean,
then you're in New York.
They got to figure it out because I think the day off. It's the day off after Mexico City would have been the smart move.
They sprung it on Mookie Betts during the post-game interview on ESPN. They asked him, "Do you hear you guys look like you're going to Korea to start the season?" He's like,
okay.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know how to feel about that. Can I sleep on this one?
Yeah.
For you guys
For sure.
before I say something that gets me in trouble, because you could tell his instant reaction was, "Oh no." I want to fly to Korea.
I think that's probably the reaction of most. I do, and I don't think that's a wrong reaction to have. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot for those guys. You're talking about one full day on a plane in a few days period. So it's grind. Those guys already travel a buttload throughout the season. So giving them a longer trip isn't for us. We're like, oh, we never go on road trips. This is fantastic. For them, they're like, oh, cool. It's like 4 road trips in one that we have to do. So I can understand. Granted, they're paid very handsomely to do that. They are paid to grow the game as well. And I think it would be huge for Major League Baseball.
All right, we will talk some more Padres baseball coming up, and we got Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue at the bottom of the hour. Did have some giant soccer news potentially breaking over the weekend in San Diego. We got to at least mention that. We'll probably get into it more as the week goes on, but I got to tell you what happened, including some soccer games as well with our local teams. So a little news from the pitch when we come back with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Ben Woods back with you here Monday morning on 97.3 The Fan. The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed while you're listening to 97.3 The Fan. You can see what you missed, click to listen on demand, miss a guest feature, or anything else that happened earlier. We got you covered. Just download the free Odyssey app, search 97.3 The Fan, and tap earlier today to get started. So we'll probably talk about this more as the week goes on, but a report yesterday from Mark Ziegler in the UT that possibly as soon as this month, Major League Soccer could be announcing that their newest expansion team will be coming to San Diego within the next 2 years. An expansion franchise that would play at Snapdragon Stadium. Busy weekend for J.D. Wicker. Had his beloved Jimmy Buffett in concert at Snapdragon Stadium. Yeah, and then has been apparently negotiating a lease for a new MLS team. And once that is all finalized, we could have a press conference later this month announcing the new team that would be co-owned actually by a local interest from the Sequan tribe and from an Egyptian billionaire who's been big in soccer in other parts of the world that would be providing a lot of the money behind the $500 million expansion fee that would go along with joining Major League Soccer, the largest expansion fee in U.S. soccer history, to put their 30th team. They have 29 teams right now, put their 30th team here in San Diego.
I feel a great deal of sympathy for our loyal friends. I do. And many loyal, massive supporters are some of my dearest friends. I know what they have put into building this club up for the last 4 years.
And they've done a phenomenal job.
But beyond.
Yeah, really great. That now the loyal play in the second division USL. If this was baseball, we'd be like, it's a AAA team compared to a major league team.
But not a feeder.
Yeah, not like a feeder. Not like a farm club.
So this would be more independent ball, like you're playing in
the Northern League.
Right, the independent ball, as opposed to a feeder league for the MLS team.
But it's the second highest level of soccer in the United States.
In the United States.
The USL
correct
championship league.
They've put like countless hours into it. And to have somebody come in now, and you have to, I'm sure there's many of them that are very, very conflicted, because it's like, do we want an MLS team here? Yes, it's good for San Diego. It's good for the economy.
I would guess these are soccer fans more than just loyal fans.
Yeah. Who?
So, well, everyone.
The people you're describing, like they were fans of the game.
Correct.
They weren't
before the loyal existed.
That being said, they got their club. They put their heart and soul into it. And now another new shiny thing moves in that's going to potentially take away. I don't know enough about the economics of soccer,
the reporting is that there hasn't been any determination, what, if any role the loyal plays here, if like they do move some of the management and they just take the name, or if it's completely separate.
Yeah,
they both compete at the same time in the same city, or, if they put the loyal out of business, which would be incredibly heartbreaking if that's what happened. If an MLS team came in and just said, all right, well, I guess we're closing up shop now for the loyal, because how do you compete in the same town?
And the mom and pop
goes away.
Yeah, I mean, if we had a AAA team here in San Diego, how would they do with the Padres drawing 45,000 every night? That would be tough.
It would be. They have a good enough base, but I don't know I don't know the economics of soccer, and I don't know specifically. From what I do understand, though, this is not the first time the MLS has moved into a city that has other teams like the loyal in it. It's happened before.
Well, it happens in every sport eventually. I mean, San Diego was a minor league baseball town, and then they got the major league Padres. One of the reasons you have a minor league team, a lower division team, show that you support that. You have fans of that sport. And once you prove that, then the big league comes calling. That's the formula. I mean, wasn't that kind of the idea a bit behind the loyal?
It's a good question. I mean, it's a good question.
Hey, let's show how good of a soccer town we are. Support this team, and then we'll get an MLS team coming to San Diego.
But see, I don't know that the fans of the light. I don't know. I'm asking. Was that the ultimate goal of the loyal fans? Because from what I'm reading, from many of the most vocal supporters, that ain't it. They're not saying, "Woo, mission accomplished, guys. We did it. We got the MLS team here. See all you players later. Good. Our loyal support will now transfer to the Dragons or whatever the hell the MLS team is going to be called. I don't see that at all, Benjamin. And I
could there be a scenario where the loyal just keeps chugging along and drawing great crowds and doing great, and the MLS team kind of falls flat on its face?
Well, that could happen too.
I mean, could you imagine what? There's a AAA team in Las Vegas. They're going to possibly share a stadium with the A's
for a while until the new one's built.
Could Las Vegas go and pack the stadium for their AAA team, and no one really cares about the A's or shows up for the major league product?
I guess
I don't see that.
I don't see it either. I think
it would be the exact same situation here with the MLS.
I think MLS would do really well here based on just the rabid soccer support that this city gets for the Wave, for the loyal. I do think that outdoor game that they play, I think it would be good. Now, I always tend to fall on the, hey man, is it ultimately a good move for San Diego? I think ultimately it is. Doesn't mean I don't feel terrible for all of the blood, sweat, and tears that my friends have put in for the loyal either. That's the other thing. So I'm pretty conflicted on it. And I know a lot of them are as well. So I don't know that there's the simple solution, and it's not simple at all because it takes a lot of red tape, obviously. The simple solution, Ben, would be, oh, cool, the Loyal's going to stay. They're the feeder team for
but it doesn't.
San Diego Dragons.
There are no feeder teams.
Right.
It's players can go wherever they want if they're signed. It's not, you don't put down a farm club necessarily.
Yeah.
And that's not how it works in soccer. So
it's nuts, though, man.
I mean, I feel like the solution would be, let all of those people who are doing such a great job running the loyal then run the Major League Soccer
But they
team.
don't want to. They want to stay with the loyal. It's in the name.
Right, but call the Major League Soccer team the loyal.
Okay.
They'd be the loyal. It'd be the same people. Obviously,
it's not gonna be the same players.
Obviously, you'd have to bring in, some players, maybe a couple you get to hold around, the ones that are up and coming that we're going to make MLS, but every team changes players. No team stays with the same players for years and years in any sport. You always have turnover on the roster.
Sure.
But if you have the people behind the scenes who are a lot of the same people, I mean, the one guy who can't be the same, the owner is the guy who really you'd feel, because he's not going to be the owner of the team.
Correct.
This new Egyptian billionaire, and Saquon would be the owner. And, if he's the one setting the culture, you can't really say, well, you get to, hey, I know we're owning the team, but let's let this guy who owned the loyal make all the big decisions for our team. That would never really fly. So it's going to be a tightrope walk, I would say, for this new MLS team to get it right and to be successful.
Just like any team coming into a market, it's tough, man. I've been a part of the Seals for 5 years, and really, we were really breaking through, and then the pandemic hit, and we had to start over. And I mean, we had a playoff game on Friday night. Now it was also first night of Padres Dodgers. There were 5,000-6,000 people there, and it was loud and rowdy. But, you'd love to see 10 in there. You'd love to. I understand it's completely different. Box lacrosse is going to take a little longer to catch on than the world's game of soccer. I understand that fully. I love the moves that we've made so far. But that's the highest level of pro lacrosse is the NLL. So it takes a while, and it really takes a while in this city. It takes a long while. That's what I thought was so spectacular about what the Loyal did. They managed to make a really big splash, Ben, in a really short time. And I know that there are guys, it's not me. It's not, I am very, very off in the distance, the periphery watching. That being said, I know there are people that this is eating their souls alive right now. It really is hard for them. So my heart goes out to you. I hope everybody finds it a fair and equitable way to do it. I just don't think there is.
Nice 2-1 win for the Loyal on Saturday against Orange County, climbing into second place on the table. Paulie, put on the rundown for tomorrow. I would like to hear from actual Loyal fans how you feel about this.
Yeah,
whether
for sure.
It's mixed, whether you're upset about the MLS possibly coming to town, whether you see any solution that could work out. So put it on the rundown, and we're going to talk to Jake Mintz. We're going to get back to a little more baseball. It was a big Padres weekend, obviously. So we're kind of focusing on that today, but I want to have some Loyal fans on tomorrow, and I really would like to hear your opinion on this subject because you're more qualified than Woods and I to talk about this. No doubt about it. So we'll do that. But next, Cespedes Family Barbecue's Jake joins us to wrap up the weekend and baseball, and more on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by the Caltrans Stormwater Program. Visit cleanwaterca.com. Let's change this to that by picking up after our pets, reducing pesticide use, and regularly servicing our vehicles. Learn how at cleanwaterca.com. That's cleanwaterca.com from Caltrans Stormwater. Well, I think that was clear that Padres Dodgers was in the center of the national attention for this weekend, especially with the ESPN Sunday night broadcast. Always like getting Jake and Jordan's perspective on the Padres, being not as close to the situation as we are. I think it's good to go sometimes outside your bubble and get some other opinions on your baseball team. And we'll do that with Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Insperity. Still a few problems here, guys. One is a hit-and-run crash southbound side of the 805 before Market Street. It's over the right shoulder, and a collision on northbound 805 right before Governor. Looks like that may have been moved over to the right shoulder, and a collision on northbound 125 just past Spring Street. Motorcycle involved in this one. It's got the fast lane blocked. Providing scalable HR services, access to better benefits, payroll, and HR technology for over 35 years. Insperity's mission is to help businesses succeed so communities prosper. Insperity, HR that makes a difference. Visit Insperity.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's go out on a grand old barbecue Monday and joined, as we are each and every week, by one of the hosts of the Cespedes Family Barbecue Baseball Podcast. This time it's Jake Mintz's turn to be with us here on 97.3 The Fan on our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Jake, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing? Juan Soto should have caught that baseball.
Yes, he should have. He should have.
Yeah, we didn't give that enough attention.
No, we didn't.
He catches that. Mookie's home run makes it a one-run game in the ninth inning as opposed to a tie game.
If it even happens. That's the worst part about baseball is the what-ifs, what didn't happen. You never know if things are going to play out exactly as they would have. In fact, I don't think that that's how that works, to be honest with you. But, yeah, you make that play.
And Mookie should have caught that ball off the bat of Xander Bogaerts in the first inning,
no
too.
Doubt. Yeah. No doubt. I wanted to ask you about this, Jake. You wrote an article. You sat down with one of the more interesting fellows in the game of baseball, and that is Nick Castellanos. And I loved your piece with Nick. I'll be honest with you. We had Joey Votto on the phone once, and he was pretty intimidating to talk to. Nick Castellanos also strikes me as a guy that's fairly intimidating to talk to. Were you nervous going into that? I know you're a professional, but.
Castellanos, no. I had spoken to Castellanos a couple of other times before I sat down with him. He can be like a little protective sometimes of himself, but he wants to share insight into the game. And so for that reason, I was fine going up and talking to him. And the question I asked him was like, dude, why do you swing so much? His swing rates are always at the top of the list. And he led the league last year in swing percentage.
Loves to hack.
And I think he loves to hack. And as fans, as people who watch ball, you are constantly watching certain players and being like, why are you swinging so much? Stop swinging. Right?
We say the opposite about Juan Soto. Why aren't you swinging more? Swing more. Good things will happen. You're a good hitter.
And it's important to remember that even when these players are scuffling, like there is a thought process behind what they are doing, even if that thought process is maybe a little bit flawed. And that was my takeaway with Castellanos, who said, I swing so much because I'm always ready to hit. I am always ready to hit. Every pitch, I am trying to hit it. And that is the way that this guy is wired. And if he went up there and tried to be more selective, he wouldn't be very good. He is good because he swings so much.
Yeah.
And he explained it to me like approaching an at-bat in a different way would be like learning a new language. To which I was like, people do that all the time. Like people, it's hard.
They can. Yeah, it's very hard to do.
But people do learn a new language, Nick. Like it's not impossible.
I love that he has this plan. And, he scuffled when he first signed with Philly, but he never really deviated from the plan that got him from, to the big leagues and then made him successful in the big leagues. And we're watching it in real time. Juan Soto has always been a selective hitter, but he used to be selective aggressive, and now he's just selective. And there's something locked up in him that won't let him pull the trigger. He did hit a pretty nice oppo shot last night that, maybe it's out of a couple of other ballparks. It's a decent sign, something to build on, certainly, but too many times this season and last, just kind of waiting on that perfect pitch that may not exist.
He looks better than he did 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely, he does. Absolutely.
Right. And that's the thing, is like, you just want to see that arrow pointing up and you want it to be green for him. He's so important to the team moving forward. Like, any progress is good. And so I think we're now in a territory with Juan Soto where we don't need to overanalyze every at bat like we were 3 weeks ago. Right. I now have trust that he will get himself out of this funk. He's too talented to not do that.
When you were talking about Nick Castellanos, that thoughtful intensity actually reminded me, Paul and I had a chance to go down and chat with Brent Honeywell last week at the ballpark, and he was that way as well. It kind of surprised me a little bit. He was more intimidating than I expected in the conversation, but very thoughtful about everything. And
very offended by Ben's question about the screwball.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I mean, he's like, I thought it was going to be a fun question about the screwball.
He's not having fun with it.
He was not having fun with it at all, Jake.
It's important to remember, baseball players are intense people.
Yeah.
That is how they got there, right? They are the best at what they do, in part because they are outrageously nutso about it. And they take, like, when I went up to Castellanos, I was like, hey, I'm not trying to critique you. I am genuinely curious. Why do you swing so much? Right. And I think that they get defensive because they've so much of their like sense of self, it revolves around their ability to do that job. And I think that's why you see guys get defensive.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened a couple of times, and they're never mean about it. It's just kind of how they're wired. I like that. We're talking to our pal Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue. One of the more interesting stories of the weekend is it's a debacle. It's an S show. It's everything you could possibly categorize in a bad way, and that's what's going on with the St. Louis Cardinals. Not only is the record horrendous, but this situation with Wilson Contreras has literally, in my opinion, it's now spiraled out of control. Like, it may be beyond, saving at this point. What are your kind of thoughts going into it? And we can explain after what exactly is going on.
So if I was going to get a franchise catcher and pay him $87 million, I would make sure he could catch first.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. But I'm not a GM. So who am I to say? Here's what's happened. I can explain to people. Wilson Contreras, who was the catcher for the Cubs for a very long time, was a free agent, and the Cardinals gave him 5 years and $87 million to fill Yadier Molina's shoes as the primary catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. When they did that, there was a lot of optimism about Contreras' ability to improve at the position, his aptitude to learn, and his athleticism to get better. And we are not even a month and a half into the season, and the Cardinals recently announced over the weekend that they will be moving Contreras to designated hitter and not have him catch for the foreseeable future. Basically, because I think the quote was something along the lines of, he has not fulfilled the expectations of what we have come to expect from the position. Now, Wilson Contreras has not changed in the last 2 months.
Right.
This is the player he's always been. There have always been doubts about his ability to play catcher defense beyond the throwing and receiving and blocking parts and the game calling and preparation aspect. It's not an effort situation, to be clear. It's just something he's not particularly skilled at. Now, I don't understand what the Cardinals think is going to happen between now and the next 4 years. He's been in the big leagues for 8 years. This is who he is at this point. And I think there was a level of hubris involved for the organization where they thought, oh, well, Yadier Molina did this forever. Like, we'll be fine. But they've already acknowledged that, like, the turnover here, the adjustment to having someone who's not Yadier Molina has been incredibly difficult, because for the last 20 years, this team was able to just give him the keys and let him run the show.
No doubt.
In terms of game calling and preparation. They can't do that anymore.
No doubt. And to have the GM come out again 6 weeks into the season and say, well, hindsight is 2020, basically saying to this guy that is a veteran and a World Series winner, and overall pretty good player, for them to say, hindsight's 2020. is staggering to me. I don't know how this is. There a part of him that's like, what did I do? I made a huge mistake signing here. I'm now a DH.
Yeah, I mean, probably has to be
because it's such a
Contreras has handled this very professionally.
He has very, very professionally.
He's like, I'll do whatever they want. Like, I'm here to get better. I want to help the team win. Yada yada yada. And their manager Ali Marmol basically came out and said, "Hey, we're not blaming this on him." Okay, well, actions, they speak louder than words, my friend, and you're not letting him catch anymore.
He's not catching anymore. And to put all of the blame on Wilson Contreras and really none of the blame on the pitching.
Can I chime in just here, because I'm going to let everybody in on one of my little personal secrets. I think as fans, we tend to operate under the assumption that one team here is an idiot, one GM's an idiot, someone's an idiot. I tend to operate that everyone in baseball, for the most part, is behaving rationally and in their own best interest. And when we saw the trade deadline last year and the Cubs, everyone assumed we're going to trade Wilson Contreras because he was going to be a free agent. Why not get something for him? And then they ended up not trading him. And everyone thought, oh, the Cubs are idiots. They were asking way too much. Well, why weren't they getting better offers for Wilson Contreras at the trade deadline than they were looking for? It's because guys around baseball knew that they didn't necessarily think he could help their team behind the plate.
But if he was such a problem and you weren't going to re-sign him, better to get something than nothing than a compensatory
I
pick.
guess so, but I mean, at some point, I just assume that there are mostly rational actors in baseball.
How do you guys?
I agree with you,
Jake. But how do you guys? It's the Cardinals and the Cubs. They're 6 hours apart. They play each other all the time. They knew what they were getting.
I agree with Jake. I think I loved your institutional hubris. Is that what you called it? That's great. The Cardinals just thought, hey, we have 25 other guys who are doing it the right way. There's no chance this guy's going to completely fall in line. He may not have put in the extra work necessarily learning everything he needed to with the Cubs, but he's going to do it here in St. Louis because everybody does it. And they had maybe some hubris about it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. And the reason that position is so important there, specifically in St. Louis, their pitching staff, everyone throws 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Literally. They do not have guys with strikeout stuff. And so as a staff, they need to be very perfect with how they pitch. And that is location, sequencing, confidence, throwing pitches with conviction, and all that stuff in the last 2 seasons under Yadier Molina worked because he was better at that than anybody else. And for them to assume that a guy with defensive question marks was going to be able to fill that shoes, I thought was just a little bit overconfident, especially when they were in the mix to get Sean Murphy, who ended up going to the Braves and has been, the best hitter in the world the last 3 weeks of the season, not to mention his ability defensively.
Pretty amazing stuff. I wish we had more time. I got one more for you, talking to Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue. They mentioned on the broadcast last night, Jake, that this could be, many GMs are saying, many people around baseball are saying, this could be one of the slowest, worst trade deadlines around. I kind of wanted to get your thoughts. I'm looking at the standings right now, and I'm like, yeah, I don't see a lot of teams throwing in the towel. You got the extra wild card. There's a couple of teams that are going to be looking to, there's a bunch of teams that are going to be looking to improve. Will there be a big flurry of moves this season, in your opinion?
No way. No chance. It's going to be an absolute nap time.
Great.
In a couple months. And
we've always had fun at the trade deadline here. So.
Yeah. Preller will probably find a way to trade for Mike Trout or something. But how many teams are legitimately throwing in the towel like that we could see? I guess like the Royals are terrible, but like what do they have to give up, right? To me, it's the White Sox and the Cardinals are the two teams who have interesting pieces that they could deal at the deadline. That's one part of it, right? There are a lot of teams that are playing well, and a lot of the bad teams have already ripped up the studs from what they had. And that's like the Reds and the A's and the Nats. They've already done the sell-off. Then there's the fact that this free agent class that's upcoming is very overwhelming, right? There aren't a lot of good high-end players now that Ian Happ signed an extension and Rhys Hoskins blew out his knee. It's like Teoscar Hernandez and Harrison Bader and obviously Ohtani, but he's not going to get traded. And so there aren't a lot of impending free agent hitters on the market. And then you have like, I think the guys who will get traded, it's like maybe you could see Giolito on the move. But then like the other aces of the world, Shane Bieber, Corbin Burns, are on teams that are trying to win right now.
Yeah.
So that's all going to add up to a very slow summer in terms of trades.
Interesting.
Assuming you saw the Padres posting the Clayton Kershaw meme on the scoreboard on Friday night in the reaction, your thoughts?
Yeah, here's my quick take on that, right? That is beef that you are establishing between the scoreboard operation crew and one of the greatest pitchers of a generation.
That's it.
You got to check in with Bob Melvin first. Like, you're giving Kershaw bulletin board material for no reason. Like, I'm all for having fun and having a good time. That's great. But make it about yourself. Pump yourself up, and let's not be trolling future Hall of Famers in early May.
Kershaw was great. He handled it perfectly. He said,
everyone handled it great. Like, Tatis handled it great. Kershaw handled it great. No one's actually mad. But, like, there's a version of this where, like, Kershaw's insulted, right? And he, like, bulletin board material. I'm going to crush the Padres forever. All because someone in the video operation department needed to get a joke off.
I mean,
Madison Bumgarner would have murdered somebody.
He would have killed
the original
someone.
crying meme. Jordan would have taken offense. Michael Jordan would have taken so much offense if he had played against the Padres. He never would have forgotten it the rest of his life and made it his mission.
Yeah, but he made stuff up to get mad
of course,
about,
exactly, because that's how he was.
There's a reason Kershaw is still going and is so successful. I think he's just, it's all icing. It's all extra now for him. Like, he's loving it. He's loving life.
Gravy.
Jake, great to talk to you. We'll
Thank
talk
you,
to you
buddy.
again in a couple of weeks. We'll hear from Jordan next week. Appreciate it as always.
Always a pleasure, my friends.
Jake from Cespedes Family Barbecue on a grand old barbecue Monday. Check him out. Flynn Springs, North Park. I was just there last week. Down at the ballpark. The brisket is amazing. It's just such great barbecue. Fantastic. And all of our guests appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Is that weird that I usually try to operate most teams are operating rationally. They're not filled with dumb people in the front offices. They don't get to that level by making a lot of stupid decisions.
Some are, but yeah.
There's some exceptions to the rule.
That was if what everybody's saying is true, that was a really bad signing by them.
Yeah, we got some Randall Report headlines coming up next, including big Bronny news on the Fan. Well, thanks again to Jake Mintz from Cespedes Family Barbecue, who just joined us, our regular Monday segment with those guys. I've really enjoyed that so far.
He was great
this year.
He does lean on the bulletin board material, though, but I know that's not something you believe in.
It's not.
And I do believe in bulletin board material when it comes from a player. I don't believe in bulletin board material when it comes from a school.
I believe that it exists, that people will circle something and try to take offense and use it as motivation. I don't, especially in baseball, though, think that it helps you win games at all to have bulletin board material. I think those guys are.
I mean, every coach has told every team that's made it to like a championship round or game, nobody thought we'd get here.
Correct.
Steve Kerr's Warriors won 73 games a few years back.
Is it not?
Nobody believed we'd be here, boys.
Is it not motivation enough for a professional athlete to know I'm going out in front of 45,000 people on national television, and if I fail, I'm going to get ripped and humiliated. If I succeed, I'm going to be paid riches beyond my wildest dreams. Do you really need some stupid scoreboard meme beyond that to get you more fired up for a game? And there's a lot of guys.
A scoreboard meme? No.
There's a lot of guys who probably would play and pitch better if they didn't actually make such a big deal about it every time. Go out there, relax, do what you've done your whole life. Forget about the 45,000. Forget about the national television audience. Forget about the pressure and what it all means. Just go out and relax and do your job that you've been doing for so many years. I think, if anything, they go way too far in the direction of hyping everything up. And that actually hurts a lot of guys and makes them less successful. That's my idea in baseball. Maybe in football, where it's, hey, I'm about to hit you as hard as I can, and I need as much adrenaline as possible because I'm going to have to get up and do it again the next play. And if I let my guard down, what really I'd want to do is go lay on that cart over there because this is painful and agonizing to play this sport. But baseball's not that way.
Yeah.
Baseball's not a painfully agonizing sport every second. Did you need the adrenaline pumping a million miles an hour?
Trying to hit all fired up is like the worst
pitchers
thing
can
ever.
maybe throw a mile or two an hour faster when they've got some adrenaline coursing, but they oftentimes lose the zone completely when they have that extra adrenaline as well. So it can absolutely work both ways. I got in-season Sammy Levitt at the bottom of the hour. If you missed it on Friday, had Alden Gonzalez late in the show from ESPN, and he was around this weekend covering the game. Saw him on the Baseball Tonight pregame show, standing on the field there at Petco Park. He also sent out this tweet during the game yesterday. He said the Padres gave away a dog calendar for today's game. Every month features a picture with a player and his dog, except August. Juan Soto, who has pet allergies, instead went to a nearby pet store and took his in front of a fish tank. So if you turn to August, Woodsy's got the calendar right there. You're going to see Juan Soto in front of an angelfish tank at Petco. And I get that you want to have your star player in the calendar for sure, but that made me sad.
He has pet allergies.
That he has pet allergies and can't have a dog.
He's still a big
Hold it up to the camera.
animal lover.
Hold it up to the camera, Woodsy, so everyone can see Juan Soto and in front of the fish tank at Petco.
There he is.
You ever have a pet fish?
We have one now.
You do?
Yeah, Fernando Tatis Jr.
Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah, that's got a little fish.
Did you win it at the fair?
No, we got it at Petco.
Oh,
and
right. In front of the fish tank.
We have
what kind of fish is it? A Nemo fish?
Beta, I think.
Is that the Nemo fish?
It's a beta. Perfect.
That's the kind of fish that got vaccinated.
Yeah. So, but he wears a mask still in the tank. It's wild. I try to tell him that it's not alpha to wear a mask in the tank, but he refuses. So
clownfish. Nemo's a clownfish. That's right.
We feed him soy milk only. That's how we do it in my house. We have Fernando Tatis Jr. and we have Manny Machado, and we also have Tiger Woods.
That's right.
Yes.
You are a pet family for sure.
We are definitely a pet family.
Speaking of giveaways as well, Padres, when they come back home next week, in fact, next Monday night, May 15th at 6:40 p.m., the first 40,000 fans in attendance will receive a Manny Machado City Connect bobblehead presented by Cox. If you would please model one more time. Paulie is doing it now for us. He will be donning the City Connect uniform featuring that smooth home run swing. Second of 5 bobbleheads distributed this season. Again, first pitch is 6:40, fans encouraged to arrive early, as once again, it's a first come, first serve. And we've seen so many sellouts this year that 40,000 is a lot, but not necessarily enough for everybody who shows up. So make sure you go early. And for more giveaways, you can visit padres.com/giveaways. Paulie has now reduced the value by 80% by taking it out of the box and playing
and
with
he touched it.
Smart move, Paulie.
Really nice.
Now you can't put that thing up on eBay and retire like you were planning to do.
I've got this has just made me a hero in my home today.
It's always fun to get. I've been wearing my Joe Musgrove bucket hat on my dog walks. I've traded in my old Cal State San Marcos bucket hat. Sorry, Cal State San Marcos, for my new Joe Musgrove bucket hat on my dog walks.
Will you send me a picture today?
Sure, why not?
Thank
All
you.
right, Paulie, why don't you give us some other headlines? Time for the Reindl Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Paul.
We will start off in the world of football. Colts owner Jim Irsay sent a kind of interesting tweet. It's still weird when you see a lot of team owners tweeting. You don't see it too often. Steve Cohen obviously does. Mark Cuban has been vocal, but most of the time, those guys are pretty hiding behind the scenes. And he's got a Twitter account. He tweeted last night, just said, if any NFL team attempted to contact Andrew Luck or any associate of him to play for their franchise, it would be a clear violation of the league's tampering policy.
Was anyone looking to bring Andrew Luck
Apparently
back?
the Commanders, there was a report out that
ESPN reported on Saturday, the day before that tweet was sent, that Washington made attempts last season to learn just whether or not Andrew Luck was really retired or if he had any interest in returning to the NFL. The report did not say exactly who the Commanders reached out to, whether it was Andrew Luck himself, his agent, his dad. We don't know. But Jim Irsay read that report and then took to Twitter and just said, hey, by the way, that would be tampering. If any teams are out there, he didn't tag the Commanders or anything like that. But I guess if Andrew Luck did come out of retirement, he would be a Colt by default, like
default. Yeah,
default.
I don't like this look by Jim Irsay. Not that any of Jim Irsay's looks are particularly good, but do you remember that article that came out last year when Andrew Luck kind of finally opened up about why he retired?
Yeah, of course.
Just like the crippling anxiety and how difficult it was coming back from the injuries and what a toll the NFL took on him and how hard it was. And it was a really difficult decision. It was a really thoughtful piece. He just laid himself bare in that piece. It was really, really good. I forget who wrote it, but we talked about it when it came out. If he wanted to come back, but there wasn't necessarily a spot with him for the Colts, Jim Irsay shouldn't be the one who stands in the way of that guy, trying to do what's best in his life and doing what's football. He didn't wrong the Colts by retiring. He wasn't trying to stick it to the Colts. The guy had major health and mental issues and felt like the only thing he could do at that point was walk away from the game. And I get it wasn't good for the Colts at the time to lose one of the better quarterbacks in the league, but he made a personal decision for himself and his family. And now you're going to hold it up against him years and years later.
It's wild. You're still treating him like a piece of property.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
years
the weird part. Years later.
Yeah, if it's 3 months and you try to unretire and do a Brett Favre and go
play for another team,
absolutely. The owner goes, hey.
Not happening.
But it's not like, oh, I made a mistake, I'm changing my mind. It's been years.
Yeah.
Let him go. Let him go. If you let him do his life. You don't own him. You don't control him anymore, Jim Irsay. He's not – good point, Woods. He's not your property.
All right. We'll switch over to some basketball prep news. Big news over the weekend that Bronny James has committed to USC, which I thought was interesting. Then I kind of thought about it a little bit more, and I go, well, probably a one and done. Really, because he wants to, him and his dad are going to play together. Like, that's been the plan now for years. LeBron said, like, he scheduled his contract to end when Bronny would be eligible for the NBA draft, and he's going to sign a one-year contract with whatever team drafts his son.
So he's a free agent after this year.
After next year, I believe.
Okay, after next year.
Bronny's going to go play one year.
So time out perfectly.
I mean, I'm not. I'm speaking for Bronny. I'm just assuming here that he's only going to play 1 year, because otherwise, I mean, he has to pick any school in the country. He went to USC, but I guess if you're only going to be there for 1 year, stay home, stay close to home,
close to home,
and then now, how much does his draft stock? Not just because of his name, but knowing that his dad, it's a package deal now.
Boy, yeah. I mean,
if you're like the 10th team in the draft, you're like, dude, do we trade up? Do we trade up and get LeBron for 1 year at age 42 and sell a ton of jerseys?
Or do the Lakers have to like mortgage everything to make sure they get to draft Bronny,
stay,
keep LeBron around? I think ultimately he wants his dad to go to the games. USC is like 5 minutes from Crypto.com Arena. You know, when he's at home, he'll probably get to go see him play a lot. If he went and played at like Kansas or Kentucky, LeBron would probably get to go to maybe like one game, you know, during the year. It's, you know, their seasons overlap. There wouldn't be any time. He'd be on the road, but at home, he'll probably get to go to a dozen games or more when he's around town. So to me, it makes perfect sense to get to play at USC.
Is it and we'll see what happens with LeBron. You know, he's going to keep himself in shape, but it's not going to be an anchor around a franchise that, hey, we're getting Bronny, so we're also getting LeBron. Granted, you're getting LeBron at 42 years old for basically, let's be honest, let's call it what it is. It's shtick. You're doing a bit for a year. LeBron wants to play with his kid.
Well, he hasn't dropped off yet either.
He has.
For all we know, he's still going to be hooping.
Absolutely.
Really well.
The one thing we don't really know is Bronny any good? I mean,
LeBron's
he's obviously
38
great
right now, so he'll be age 40, I think.
Bronny's obviously one of, you know, many, many, many very good high school players. They don't all pan out. They don't all pan out to be great college players.
I think he's going to get
and even fewer. I mean, he'll get opportunities that they don't get, but doesn't really help a team a ton to draft Bronny James in the first round if he ends up being not that great of a player.
Yeah, or an average player. And we'll see. I guess it's mostly dependent on how he plays at USC. But I mean, obviously, smart move for him. Stay close to home. Pops can come watch the whole bit. Great. Yeah. USC making moves.
I was still surprised to see that. Like, really, USC? Okay, but
I mean, you know, they're all kind of compete with the best team on the West Coast now.
Yeah,
San Diego
State.
State. And they're all living in San Diego State's shadow. You know, UCLA, USC, Gonzaga. Didn't see any of them in the Final Four of the national championship game last year, so they're trying to make moves to keep up with Brian Dutcher and the Aztecs right now.
Finally, saw a headline that caught my eyes here. Tennessee hotel night manager charged after guest woke up to him sucking on his toes. And at first I go,
I saw this story. I was like, this can't be real.
I was like, wait.
Right,
like
so
the guy went downstairs to the lobby to get some room service, and the night manager was sitting at the desk sucking his own toes.
Nope. So a guest, right? A hotel guest?
Yes.
Checks into
the Hilton hotel.
Okay, checks into the Hilton. Oh man, I'm very road weary. I'd like my room key, please, and I'm gonna hit the sack. Goes up, showers, gets in bed, pulls the covers up, falls asleep in a nice, comfortable Hilton bed, and he's awakened by the night manager of the hotel sucking on his toes. Just.
Oh my God!
Right.
Is that a spa treatment of sorts?
It's a.
Is there one of you hit 0 for the operator, 1 for the bell desk, 2 for room service,
toe sucking,
and 3 to have the night manager suck on your toes while
I can't think of anything creepier. You could come to the door nude in a Michael Myers mask, and I wouldn't be as scared as I would to wake up to find some man sucking my toes at a Hilton.
What is that feeling? I'm sleeping. What is
This
that?
just feels kind of nice.
This
is this a dog?
Let me tell you, the guy looks like an absolute.
He looks like a toe sucker.
Deviant.
Well,
This was in Nashville, and 52-year-old David Neal was arrested on Friday. And this allegedly happened back in March, but he was just arrested last week. He's charged with aggravated burglary and assault, according to police. The police report says that the man created a key card so that he could enter the guest's room at around 5 a.m.
How do you think you're going to get away with this? Is this one of those?
You go in for just a quick lick, and then
are you hoping? Hey, maybe he won't wake up.
Maybe he won't
and
notice. And then
I'll
I got my jollies.
I'll sneak out before he
catches me.
I mean, high risk, low reward here.
Now,
your only prayer is that the guy's like, "Oh, good morning. I like that." Like that's your only prayer. That's what you're hoping to God that he's like, "What? Hey, all right, don't stop. It's fine." Like that's your only prayer.
Well,
scenario.
All right, go ahead.
Otherwise, the cops are being called. You're losing your job.
I'm beating the S out of you with my bare
arrested. Yeah,
hands.
you might. I mean, there's very little upside to this maneuver.
I would maybe they'd have to pull me off of this guy.
Says here, after waking up to the man sucking on his toes, the guest realized that Neal had entered his room the night before to help solve a television issue. Officers report that Neal told police he went into the guest's room because of the smell of smoke. So he thought he smelled. His story is he smelled smoke.
I was licking
And
the
that's why
fires
he
off of
had
his
to
feet. Guys, I was his feet were on fire.
I
I
saved
was
this
spitting
man's
on them.
life.
I saved his feet.
Oh my god!
I can't. What do you guys think of feet? Are you into feet?
You've talked about it before.
I like
you like feet.
I do.
I'm not grossed out by feet, but I'm not like
into them.
Not
in particular.
breaking into anyone's hotel room.
I don't go look at pictures of feet on the internet.
I don't either, but I do like kind of into it.
But I don't mind giving a foot massage.
Yeah,
Don't really like receiving them. They're great.
I like them too.
Yeah.
I definitely give more than I get in that department. But I kind of like feet. I'm not like a fetishist or anything. I just kind of like it. Maybe I am. Maybe I have a foot fetish.
There's a picture of the guy for our YouTube chat.
Yeah, fantastic.
Oh my god, dude!
Nightmare fuel.
Oh my!
You wake up at 5 a.m. and that guy.
Hey, buddy.
That is a
What the hell?
disturbing edition of the Rindle Report.
That was something else.
Yeah.
All right, let's overall reset our thoughts for the weekend for the Padres. That was.
I don't want to.
Before Sammy Levitt joins us at the bottom of the hour. You know me. The sky is not falling when it comes for, my opinion.
No, I'm so much baseball left to be played.
There is.
Yeah.
That's coming up next after a check of traffic here with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Got some exciting news for the tier ones out there. We're going to be broadcasting live on location.
I like it.
This Friday, join 97.3 The Fan at AleSmith Brewing Company this Friday, beginning at 6 a.m. with the Ben and Woods program. And then Braden's coming on. Coach is off, but Braden will be there. And then Gwen and Chris, all shows, all day, coffee, food, and $5, $3.94 pale ales all day long. People of all ages are welcome. Don't forget to stick around afterwards to watch the Padres play the Dodgers with the sound on throughout the entire tasting room. So you got a watch party after an entire day of 97.3 The Fan. We've done it before. We did it during the postseason last year.
Yep.
Down there in the Miramar area where the AleSmith Brewing Company is located. Great space. Really beautiful. That place was packed for our postseason broadcast.
Was awesome.
I would love to see it. Packed again this Friday morning when we are out there. We don't get out that much.
No.
So
and when we do, we'd love to see you.
This is an opportunity to come out and say hello and see us in person and talk about this team that'll hopefully be coming off a 3-game winning streak after sweeping the Minnesota Twins. But hate to go out on a limb and predict everything because this team still kind of defies explanation through 35 games.
They do.
We know that the issue has been they have not hit well enough, especially with runners in scoring position. But then you look at some of the other numbers, and it doesn't totally make sense. Like for this series in particular, they lost 2 of 3 to the Dodgers. Why? Because they didn't hit as well as the Dodgers? Well, no, they out-hit the Dodgers in every game of the series, and overall, almost 2-1. They out-hit the Dodgers 2-1. If you do that every series, you're going to be an incredibly good baseball team, right? If you out-hit your opponents by a 2-1 margin, you are going to be one of the best teams in baseball. There's no way you can stop that. Any team that out-hits their opponent double should be winning 70 to 80% of their games.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, they didn't win the last couple of days, even though they out-hit the Dodgers in both of them. What do we make of that? So they're not getting timely hits.
Well, as Dylan Hernandez.
Should they stop getting hits on the less important times so they can get hits in the more important times? What do you do?
Well, as Dylan Hernandez just tweeted, he just wrote an article for the LA Times. Says the Dodgers might not be as talented as they were in previous seasons, but they're still the Dodgers. They know how to win. The Padres, even after their NLDS victory last year, they remain baseball's version of the Chargers, which is a very salacious headline.
But the Dodgers know how to win.
Right.
The Dodgers teams that have fallen flat on their face, October after October
after October, 60-game championship after October. Correct. 9 division titles. So falling on their face in October, 60-game season in October. Yes, those Dodgers that know. You're starting to piss me off.
They've won a lot of regular season games.
Nobody wins more regular season games than them. Nobody. They win a ton.
I'm not sure 1 3-game series this year is quite indicative enough to tell us that they still know how to win games.
Like it did last year. I just bookmarked
Do you think?
Do
you think the Dodgers owe the Padres an apology for this Dylan Hernandez bulletin board material?
No.
Should Dave Roberts go and personally apologize or hold a news conference maybe with Andrew Friedman and the brain trust of the Dodgers apologizing for Dylan Hernandez's piece?
I did love last night in the broadcast. I meant to bring this up. The Dodgers are the envy of baseball. They're the envy. I don't know, man. Like, were the Bills the envy of the NFL back in the day? No, they weren't. Getting to 4 Super Bowls is a major accomplishment. Not winning any of them sucks. Winning 9 division titles, and the only thing you have to show for it in brilliant careers like Clayton Kershaw's and et cetera, winning 9 division titles and having
Is there an envy of baseball right now? I mean, the Astros,
they're 500,
have had the most success recently in the playoffs, but they got a giant cheating scandal that hung over their heads.
Correct.
And kind of, I don't know you necessarily envy the Astros.
The Rays are, but they never win anything in October.
The Rays get no fans. They
don't win.
Payroll. They don't win in October. They're playing well right now.
Sure.
But, do you envy the Yankees? They're
terrible.
Riddled with injuries. The Mets have the biggest payroll. They're under 500.
Yep. The Cardinals, the Cardinal way, no, they've won 9 games or something.
I mean, the Pirates get off to a great start. They've lost 6 in a row. The Braves are pretty enviable right now.
Absolutely. They have Really good players.
They won a
signed-
World Series a couple of years
They
ago.
did.
Good players. They've signed them up long term. They get good attendance in
Yeah.
that ballpark.
I'd say
They're
they're
winning right now. They got the best record in the National League. Man, if any team is enviable right
It's
now,
probably
maybe
the Braves.
Maybe it's the Braves.
Yeah, but they talked about it last night. Is it cool for fans to be like, because I already saw a guy this morning, bragging about the homegrown Outman and the homegrown Bush and all of that. And it's like, bro, who gives a flying F if you don't win in October? Who cares how you built your roster? Who cares?
I'm going to be honest, though. If I was just approaching Major League Baseball, like I've never picked a team, I need to pick a team. I want to find a team that I'm going to enjoy watching. It's going to be fun. It's got a great ballpark that is exciting. I think I would pick the Padres just like as a neutral observer.
Yeah.
As the team that I think would probably give me the most enjoyment over the next however many years. Put everything together. Ballpark, the roster,
uniforms,
the uniforms, the food, everything that comes with it. I'd probably pick the San Diego Padres. There'd be some other teams I'd think about, obviously. I'd think about the Braves, the Dodgers, probably think about, upcoming team like the Mariners or something. I like that ballpark. But ultimately, I think I'd pick the Padres as the team that I'd want to get behind right now.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds a little bit homer.
I'm not a
but
homer. I'm neutral.
Oh yeah, you're neutral. You just moved here. from Germany.
No, I didn't even move. Yeah, I moved to America from Germany, and I'm picking a
baseball's
baseball
great.
team. Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
So I'm not being a homer. I'm being a neutral observer.
Yeah.
Now, if I was a homer, I'd say, duh, it's the Padres.
Right.
But I'm saying, put it all together.
If you
I think
are
it's
in
the
fact
Padres.
neutral, yes, I got you.
Sammy, in-season Sammy's going to join us. We'll talk with Sam Levitt. He had a very close-up look at that entire series and everything that was going on there in the Western Metal Supply Company before the game and after the game for his pregame shows, postgame shows. Sam Levitt will join us when we come back on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Tower 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Big O Tires. Summer's coming. You may be ready, but what about your vehicle? Our friends at Big O Tires can help right now. Get a full synthetic oil and filter change, just $69.99. For your nearest neighborhood Big O Tires location, visit
I swear to God.
.com.
Did you do something you didn't tell me?
I swear to God, I didn't do anything. That is an actual paid read.
Thought he did it again. I thought he did it without my knowledge.
No, but when I read it yesterday, I started laughing, and I laughed again now.
It's nothing untoward about.
Read it again.
How much again was it?
$69.99. It's like $70, but they make it a penny less to make it sound a little more affordable.
$69.
It's a good bit.
99 sounds much better.
It's like you can join our YouTube stream for different levels. What is it, Paulie? We got $4.99 and
$4.99 and
$9.99. Yeah, we do the whole. Well, that's what you do. I mean, psychologically, there must be something to that.
There's got to be.
Marketing geniuses discovered long ago.
99.
Can we charge? You want to charge $20 for this, or you want to charge $19.99?
All right, you have your option. You're going to the dollar store. You're going to the 99-cent store. Which one are you walking into? You're walking into the 99-cent store every time.
We have this new one. It's called Five Below by my house.
I've not seen
Everything's like under $5. Got a good selection of candy, I must say. I get a little in trouble when I go in there with the kids. I start loading up on like $1.50 bags of gummy bears and stuff.
Oh no, Benjamin.
Yeah, I know. It's not the healthiest choice, but oh well.
Oh well.
All right, we got in-season Sammy standing by after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, a 15-minute instant drive-thru oil change. Well, guys, as of yet, looks like they have not yet reopened the eastbound lanes of the 78 from El Camino Real to College. We'll see if that gets any better this afternoon. But yeah, right now, lanes are still blocked. We do have a crash on the Coronado Bridge heading off the island just past the old toll plaza. A couple vehicles involved. They are blocking the left lane. Fortunately, no other problems on our freeways at this time. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for discounts and locations nearest you. Valvoline Oil Change Centers are open 7 days a week. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Another off day here for in-season Sammy. He certainly deserves it. Had that long stretch to start the year. But he is joining us right now on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline. Sam Levitt, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to my Pacific Beach apartment.
Look at that.
You can see it. You can see it on the YouTube stream. I even have decorations. Check out the sign up there.
There it is. Yep.
Never forget where I am, San Diego.
Now, that doesn't have an Anchorman reference on it.
Yeah, that's you're definitely missing the stay classy. As the ESPN broadcast, they never let us down, do they? We've talked about it before. We always made the joke. So I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So every time the Cowboys would play, the camera would cut to like some longhorn grazing in a field of grass, an oil derrick going up and down. I'm like,
the opening credits to this Dallas TV show.
I'm like, I've never seen any of these things. I've lived here my entire life.
Cardinals or Suns, any game in the Phoenix area, gotta show the cactus.
Show the cactus.
Sunset.
Oh, it's so corny, so corny. But all that notwithstanding, Sammy, not the most fun. I mean, good baseball. Like if you were a Braves fan and you really didn't care who won these games, you'd watch these 3 games and go, God, that was some really, really good baseball this week. And it was. Obviously, we didn't come out on top in 2 of them, which we would have liked, but it happens. It happens. But it was good baseball. It was a pretty good battle between these 2 teams.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, look, if you're a fan of baseball without really any attachment to the 2 teams, it was a great baseball series, right? I mean, close games, not much room for error. And games that came down to the wire, really all 3 of them. I think the thing that hurts, and I talked about it yesterday on the post-game show, the thing that hurts if you're the Padres, because I'll be honest, when I was standing down on the field getting ready to potentially do my post-game interview after the game when the Padres had the lead in the 9th inning, I was thinking to myself, if they hang on, they will have given up 5 runs to this Dodger offense in this series. Remember, at that point in the ninth inning, they have the 2-1 lead. They give up 5 runs before that ninth inning to a Dodger offense not only that has big-time names in it, but also if you paid attention to what they did the week prior during their homestand, a 6-game winning streak, I mean, they were really hitting their stride offensively. They scored a lot of runs in that series against the Phillies. So for this pitching staff to give up just 5 runs until that ninth inning, get the quality of starting pitching this team has got, it was, disappointing in that sense. I think the flip side of all that, obviously, is that it is a series in early May. It was a tough loss yesterday, no doubt about it. And it's funny, right, the way baseball works, because if Josh Hader gets one more out, makes a couple more pitches, you have a totally different feel about this series. So I don't know. I don't want to overreact either way, because it is one series in early May. Padres have another shot at the Dodgers this weekend in LA, but certainly with how good the pitching was for the most part, really until that ninth inning during the course of the series, you would hope more times than not that this offense can provide enough to win those games, because the Padres really had a chance to sweep this series if you want to look at it the way these games went.
God, I felt really bad for yesterday. Obviously, the players and the fans. Felt bad for Bob Melvin yesterday. I thought he managed a brilliant game. Was it somebody was asking me, hey, what did you think of that early hook for Joe Musgrove? And I said, Joe hasn't pitched a ton. He hasn't pitched a ton. He's got the charred feet. He hasn't pitched a ton. He's still building up. He was really, really sharp until the boot by Juan Soto, and then the next ball was really hard hit. We are used to Bob Melvin leaving Joe Musgrove out there for another 20 pitches. He didn't. He made the move. He made the move again, bringing in Nick Martinez to face Freddie Freeman. That was brilliant. That worked out. And then he gets it to the ninth inning, and he's got his all-world closer on the mound in Josh Hader. Sometimes closers blow games. I thought it was a brilliantly managed baseball game.
That's a good point, Woods. Yeah, I didn't have any problem. I think it was a different part of the order maybe that Musgrove could have stayed in, but with the guys coming up, Tim Hill has maybe a better shot in that spot of getting out with a 1-run lead and a run in scoring position, as he did, escaping the inning. Sammy, what were your thoughts there?
I mean, I'm with you, Woodsy. I thought it was a really well-managed game. I mean, you look at the results, it all worked out. Look, Musgrove, remember, and this is something I talked about yesterday, remember, he started the season late. He's only thrown before yesterday 2 starts. The high number of pitches he's thrown in those 2 has been 80 pitches. So I don't know that Joe's necessarily at a point yet where he's going to throw 100 pitches in a game. Right. Could he have gone a little bit deeper? I guess probably, but Bob Melvin took him out, goes to Hill in the 6th inning, the mix of Hill and Wilson in that 6th inning to get out of a jam. Then Wilson starts the 7th. Nick Martinez comes in, finishes the inning. Martinez gets out of a big jam in that 8th inning. And then obviously you're going to Hader. Look, yesterday's game, I mean, you can't ask for much more on the pitching side of things. You can't, even with Brent Honeywell, because I'm very sympathetic to these relievers in these extra innings. It's hard. You're coming in a tie game, runner on second, take away the runner on second base. He got 2 outs to start that inning and then a 2-out single. Right. I mean, if it's a different, a regular inning, that's a harmless 2-out single. So it's and certainly you're not going to put any blame on Josh Hader. He's been great, and he didn't give up the home run to somebody in the bottom of the lineup. He gave it up to Mookie Betts. And
it's baseball. It sucks. It's just very tough.
Those things happen.
Honeywell pitching for the second straight day. Obviously, the lot of intense pitches in that inning and that at bat. When you come out with that runner on second, I mean, every pitch is super intense. I thought he looked great. And the pitch that got him was a nice piece of hitting by Michael Busch. It got caught a lot of the plate, but it's 3-2. You don't want to walk and put another runner on base. So he went the other way and just fell in front of one. So that game could have easily gone a different way.
And by the way, the only run that Musgrove gave up was unearned. So, yesterday to me was not about the pitching at all, not even about Brent Honeywell in the 10th inning. This team, they're still looking for that offensive consistency. You felt like they were starting to find it. But, when you guys talked about it earlier, it may be difficult until they find that and until the top 4 really get going, week after week for this team to rattle off 6-7 straight wins. And you even look at this homestand. They had 5 quality starts, and then what Joe Musgrove did yesterday.
Yeah.
And the 3 games they lost, the scores of the 3 games, the 2 against the Dodgers, 5-2 and 2-1, and then that 2-1 game against Cincinnati. And the common theme in those games too was that the top of the order had some opportunities, whether it was Saturday trying to get the run in from third base with 1 out, whether it was, you'll remember, an extra innings on Tuesday against the Reds when it was the top of the order with the automatic runner on second base in a 1-run game. And even yesterday, I mean, you're down 5-2 in the bottom of the 10th inning, but you did have Grisham on second, the automatic runner, and a spot with Tatis Machado Soto due up in that 10th inning where all you need is a base runner to get that tying run to the plate. Not impossible, right? Not out of reach. So, that was a common thread in the 3 games they didn't win where, bottom line, guys, and we've talked about it at length, it's just so important for those top 4 guys when they have opportunities to cash in and drive runners in big moments. This team, a lot of their success will be based on how those guys do and what this offense does.
Out of those losses that you mentioned, the one that bothers me the least, and it may surprise you, is the 2-1 loss to the Cincinnati Reds. You do feel the Cincinnati Reds, you need to body 9-3 every chance you get. I understand that. Ashcraft is a really, really good pitcher. And the guys they brought out of the pen, really, really good. That being said, they hit 9 balls at 105 miles an hour that day, right at guys. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'll take a loss with you guys hitting missiles all over the field because some days they just don't fall. That's the one where I was like, all right, I can live with a 2-1 loss like that. The one on Saturday night, Sammy, with Soto not being able to tie it up with a fly ball, the game yesterday got out of hand, certainly. But yeah, Saturday night's one was tough for me as well because you had opportunities. Dustin May was absolutely unhittable. He was filthy. But you got into the bullpen and you needed a fly ball to get it and to tie it up and you didn't get the job done. Those are the ones that really, really stick in my craw.
Yeah, look, the 2 losses they had were tough.
Yeah,
because you certainly felt like you had. Saturday, I mean, a Chris Taylor home run. That was it.
That's it, man. Snell was great.
Right. So that's hard to swallow. Yesterday, obviously, with being down to the final out of the game and not winning it. So, look, it's tough. It's still early May. There's a 3-game series against the Dodgers next week. Let's see what they do on the road. But, certainly we're getting what was yesterday? Yesterday was game number 35. So we are edging towards that quarterway mark of the year. It's still very early, but you would certainly like the offense as a whole, to go on a stretch here of a week or 2 where, they're tearing the cover off the ball. Because I thought you made a good point earlier. I listened to a lot of the 6 a.m. hour where everything else for this team, the starting pitching has been just about as good as you could have hoped. The bullpen, even without Robert Suarez, I think has done a really, really good job. If you can get this offense clicking on all cylinders for an extended stretch, this team should win a lot of games. That's when you're going to go win 9 out of 10 or whatever kind of win streak you want to dream of. Everything else has been pretty good.
Yeah, it has, but
it really has.
I also don't. Yeah. I don't see it falling off a cliff. I don't think.
No.
I don't think the starting pitching is going to get any worse. I think the bullpen is going to continue to be strong, and I can't see the offense being worse than it is right now. No one is really performing even kind of at where we expected them to be. Tatis has come back. He's been good. We're like Woodsy and I said, we get excited when he comes up. Good things are going to happen, but he could even be better. So despite all that, I pointed it out earlier, as bad as it's gone, Padres are still holding one of the wild card spots right now.
Yep.
They haven't played themselves out of anything. In fact, if the season ended today, they would be the team no one wanted to play in the playoffs, just like they were last year.
It's frustration. It's not panic. It's just frustration. That's it. It's never been panic. I'm not a panicker in May. I'm just not. Now, if I was in St. Louis today, I'd be panicking because I expected to make the playoffs after some. They are so many games, but they have to win so many games in a row just to reach 500. It's going to be hard to do, and they don't necessarily have all of the guns to get it done. They just don't right now. So I love where our pitching's at. I love how we're playing defense. That play last night, notwithstanding, I love how the bullpen is pitching. You know, everybody's going to have a clunker. Came at a really, really bad time last night. That's it. But I'm very much bullish on this team. That's one game above 500.
Sammy, enjoy your day off. We're just out of time at the end of the show. That couch looks comfy. Just relax on it.
Yeah, get you a little nap in.
I think we'll hear from you tomorrow at what, 3:40 p.m.?
I think 3:40, yes.
3:40 pregame show, 4:40 first pitch from Target Field in Minnesota for the first interleague game of the year for the Padres. Their first one, right? A lot of teams have already played a ton of interleague games. Don't feel like the Padres have played any yet.
I don't remember.
Did they play 2 against the Mariners?
No.
No.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right.
All
I think
right,
you're
this is
yeah.
it. Start and a
Good
lot
job,
of interleague
Ben.
games this year, more than ever.
Yeah,
and the Padres haven't had a single one yet.
How
So
about
enjoy that. We got a lot of them coming up. I'll tell you that. It's interleague for the next couple of months. You're going to see a lot of American League teams. Thanks, Sammy.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Sam Levitt on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. And I'll just add to Sammy's great stat. He said 5 runs in the 3 games. Is actually in the first 27 innings of that series, 3 full games before the extra inning yesterday. 3 earned runs on 11 hits for the Dodgers.
Amazing.
3 earned
Phenomenal
runs.
work
1
by our
run a
pitchers.
game, less than 4 hits a game allowed by the Padres pitching staff.
Phenomenal.
For 3 full games
Again,
against the LA Dodgers.
Like he said, a team that had come in on a torrid
They'd
pace.
scored 13, 13, and 10.
Pretty effing good.
Coming into that series, right? I mean, come on. They did a lot of good things this weekend. All right, we get the off day today. I'll watch some Lakers tonight. We're going to talk some soccer. Want to hear from some loyal fans tomorrow for sure. But we should still have a good show Tuesday. Jesse Agler will join us. Little incorporator from Minneapolis. For Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Monday from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan. Bye-bye.